Let's go, bitches. We made it. It is Friday. It's Friday, right?
Something like that.
Man,
Something like
Like
that.
living in a casino. I have no idea.
we're already
Kit
doing
Kat.
product placements. Shit,
Break
you
me up a piece.
You already doing product placements. I hear
I'm
that.
telling you, man, it's churro flavor. Like, what's better?
Wow, not churro flavor.
It is churro, but there's nothing to dip it in, so I'm gonna throw them out now.
You know, I've never ever tried a churro.
A real one?
Never.
Really?
Mm-mm, not a real one.
They're
No.
really delicious.
I walk past them and they look really good. Look like they taste like crunchy donuts. Is that kind of like the taste?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, dip them in chocolate or cinnamon, and
I was right there. Let's bring these beautiful faces closer.
get a
Did we-
little
d-
closer.
yes.
Don't be shy.
Hey, you're showing your age.
I love it. You damn right.
I have a sick look. One day, Jen,
The
I have a
commercial
sick
literally ran
knowledge.
in my head.
Yo, I have a sick knowledge of jingles, like ridiculous. If I could
No,
free
wait,
up that
no,
RAM,
wait. No,
You gotta
wait, me too. Like my mom said, ever since I was little, I would hate like when there was a show on and the episode, the show was on because I was waiting for the commercials with the jingles.
oh, you wanted the shows to be over just for the commercial.
Yes. I was like, damn it, why is that? When is the jingle coming back? That's what she said when I was little. That was my thing.
I like
So,
theme
yeah,
songs.
I am a
Theme
jingle.
songs? Yeah, those two. Those are.
We good? No saying we good.
And we're good now. We're good now.
All right, let's get it. Let's jump right into this because I got a lot of little notes that I want to cover. So we're gonna have to go through some quickly so we can get to the meat and taters because Dr. Umar is the meat and taters tonight. So let's get into this. I am on the block with Jen, your favorite and sexiest devil's advocate on YouTube. You can reach me on all social media platforms right there. I'm also taking marriage proposals, not 6 figures if you're 7 figures, on the block with Jen at Gmail, okay? That's how we doing it going into 2024. All right. Panel.
I am Lily of YB Limited. That's the letter Y, the letter B, the word limited, the way it is spelled here on the screen. You can find me here on YouTube as well as Instagram, Facebook, and yes, on TikTok as well. I started my career as a model. As a makeup artist. I became a model / actor, and those roles led me here to the block with my crew here.
And I'm Heron DeMarco, music producer, multi-instrumentalist, ex-Pookie, rabid instigator, shit talker. I'm loving tonight's topic. And catch me as Dangerous DeMarco on Instagram, and you can also catch me on the Heron DeMarco on the Spotify and Apple Music.
So, No Saint here. You can catch me on No Saint on YouTube. Again, please subscribe to that channel. I appreciate it. Also, No Saint, No Saint on IG. And I will pass the mic on that.
All right, I am David Hand, aka Mr. David Hand. Thoroughly spell out the Mr. or you won't find me on Instagram because that's where I jam. You will find me on other social media channels, but with far less content. I have a hard time wearing proper shirts. I am a recovering corporate creative director turned runway model. Figure that one out. I'm still working on it. And I'm here to complain. On to you, George.
I'm George, and you can find me on Instagram at George2A. And I'm coming out with a YouTube channel here in the not too distant future. It's called Without Fear or Favor. And so you can kind of get by the title, and you know me. If any of you know me for any length of time, you know I tell it like it is. So how I see it, at least. So anyway, it's going to be a channel dedicated to interviews and people who are like, I've got people lined up for who are like esoteric religions you haven't even heard of, to talk about their why they are in it, that kind of thing. And it's not so much for me to debate them. It's more or less to understand them. That's that kind of thing. That's where I'm coming from. So thanks. Glad to be here.
Nice, nice. Okay, guys, if you want to support the show, by all means, dig into your pockets. I take pennies too, long as you can get them in the Cash App. I am Cash App on the block with Jen as well. So it's everywhere. On the block with Jen, TikTok and Instagram, and here and at my Cash App as well. I am quitting Facebook permanently, so don't look for me over there. I just gotta find my password and then I will be off of there for good.
Good luck.
It is Facebook is literally the hospice of social media apps, and I'm off of there. I will not die there. I'm gonna leave Facebook to everyone else. I'm out. Okay, it is literally, it's becoming an obituary. It's nothing but pray
Yeah.
for me's and miseries. Ain't nothing but pray for me's and miseries. I'm in the hospital. I need your prayer. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah, it's
Good
either
luck though.
pray for
Good
me
luck.
or happy birthday. It's one or the other.
Right.
I sell a kite. I sell a
Right.
kite. I pull one out
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, if I
Oh.
may, on that Facebook, I have an account there, and I have it because it is an easy way to keep up with other people and share pictures. However,
Mhm.
since the last election, I seriously barely go on there because it just became a platform of misinformation and people trying to argue political points, and
Ugh.
it just did not. It got to a point where it was just like, you know what, this isn't worth it. It's not worth my,
Yeah.
you know.
So
it's just
that's my issue. How old are you? Oh, my Vegatron, because everybody I thinks is lit is old and lame. Respectfully, respectfully.
Respectfully, old and lame.
Yeah, it's like once I started seeing my aunt on there, and it's just, I'm like, what is this? Where am I? What is going on? And it's just the constant bickering and misinformation. Lots, I mean, and then people just watching the overflow of ignorance and stupidity. And what do I mean by that? People that someone will say something like, "Hey, did you hear that it's like it's going to be a blizzard? There's going to be a blizzard tomorrow." Oh my God, get the fuck out of here. I got to get a snow plow. And bitch, did you check for yourself if it was going to snow tomorrow? Because now you're here with so much conviction. And that goes with like big news stories. Oh, well,
Yes.
I heard
Yeah.
that. Did you hear that Stevie Wonder was down in that submersible too? Mm-hmm. Oh, see, it's a conspiracy. Bitch, did you check yourself?
right. And
I couldn't take it.
They repost
Yep.
breaking news like, you think we didn't know this? Like, you think
Yeah, it's
CNN
like-
didn't beat
Well,
you to the punch here?
and another thing was the amount of Russian and Chinese propaganda being put on there as
yeah.
well, which
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what, I don't need to see this. I don't want to let those people in my.
But I heard
mind.
that they just dropped the hammer on reposting news articles over there, so you can't even do that anymore.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, or it's a rule that's coming.
One
if
thing
it isn't already.
that's said to happen is that Zuck and Elon Musk are going to have a UFC battle.
You know what Zuck rhymes
It's gonna
with?
be it's gonna be fight night.
I think I do. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He actually trains, and he won a fight recently.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I can't. Yeah, I can't
All
take it over there.
135 pounds of him won.
I can't take it over there anymore. Yeah,
Well,
I can't
left
do it. I just
Facebook
can't.
because they couldn't take my brand of humor. My brand of humor is better suited for Twitter. That cesspool and that dragon's nest.
Yeah. I just don't like any place where there's like, and people. Someone said in the chat, "Oh, they're using it wrong." Now there's an abundance of misery and
Yes.
dead endery that you
Yes.
can't escape on Facebook. It is people well said, and shout out to the people who are born, work, get their 401k, married, fuck something for a little while, and then die. Shout out to you guys, because sometimes people are fulfilled with that life. I'm just not wired that way. And Facebook has an abundance of people who have settled into death. I
No,
don't like
wash
the
that
vibe.
motherfucker. Let's just call it what
Like,
it is.
I don't-
These
I don't-
are-
Yeah.
I don't like the vibe, and to me, it's not worth it. People are like, well, you're following the wrong people. No, motherfucker. My Facebook accounts are maxed out. So I have an abundance of people from everywhere. And then there's the little 20 or 30 that Facebook allows you to have. And I realized I'm watching these people, I'm watching their kids get born, I'm watching them get married, I'm watching them get divorced, I'm watching them go through relationships. And I feel like a fish in a bowl,
Mm-hmm.
just floating around and just watching people
And then
walk
you don't even know these
around.
people. I don't even know these people. That's the craziest
Exactly.
part. I'm like, why do I
That's my
feel
thing.
so a part of this person's life that I've never
And
spoken
you don't
to?
know them,
Right.
yeah.
Don't I mean, like,
Yeah.
down
It's
to like never
weird. It's
even
weird.
shared a DM. Like, it's crazy. But
Yeah,
I
it's
know
weird.
everything about them. I know that their sister ain't shit, their baby daddy ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? The new boyfriend done cheated on them. Okay, they done lost the job. I mean, I
Like
shouldn't
I
know
don't
this
think
thing.
I don't think we were supposed to know that much about other people. And I know it sounds like we're trashing Facebook. If Facebook is your thing and you're thriving over there in the cemetery, great. I mean, you know, it got to the point where Facebook was literally doing, like, when someone died. Do you remember that? They were trying to remember when they were trying to do that? When someone died, they would put over their fucking account that they were dead.
Yeah, my dad has. We put his account into like a memorial page.
Legacy, yeah, they call it legacy.
Legacy,
Yeah,
yes,
no,
yes.
it's no.
But-
I will not scroll by your cemetery, sir. No, I'm not doing it.
But
I'm
you know
not doing it.
what you guys were saying about, you know, they'd say, hey, and people read their news. I think we as humans, especially the older you get comfortable with doing things. It reminds me of my dad. Like, you know, we're in before he died. I mean, we had the internet, smartphones, and yet he'd be talking to his friend who lived about 80 miles away. Oh, what? Oh, rain's coming. Oh, okay. Oh, they got rain over there. They just kind of fit into that habit of, you know,
Right.
whatever makes them feel comfortable. I don't know, but
Yeah. I mean, no, shout out. I just don't, you know, I when I was younger, I remember going to visit the elders in spurts. I like it better that way. I don't want to
Yeah.
see my aunt in the
All
hospital
day,
every
every
other
day.
month. My elbow, my neck, my back. I'm just not. I don't like it. I don't like the vibe. I'm like, you know, I love that about Star from the Star Report. He's like, don't bring him. And Star looks like a fucking what? He looked like he's in his 40s. Star is
Yeah.
what, almost 60, 70 something. How
no,
old
he's
is
like
Right.
58.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
Star's
58.
almost
he? 58.
Yeah,
Right.
he's in his
And
late
he's
50s.
and he's very adamant. He is strict about, do not fucking talk to me about anything from the past. I don't live there. I don't know anybody there. Don't come talk to me about what I did in the 90s. And some people just have that shit. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not back there. Talk to me about what I did today. And it's very important to keep your mind that way. People are always like, oh, Jen, why do you look younger than you? I'm not fucking with you from 1995. That's why. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear what you saw that I did. I run into girlfriends now that are like my age, pushing 50. Now, Jen, remember when you body slammed that? I was 15. I was 15 when I put that girl in the chokehold. Ask me about what I'm doing. Ask me about my grandchildren, because that's where I am now.
Yeah.
I'm not back. You know what I mean? And you can't let people, because a lot of people just, their glory days is sometimes in a certain era in their life.
There you go.
And they can't go past that.
Right.
And you're like,
Right.
I left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's that,
So I'm
that's
like,
that Al Bundy shit. That 5. What was it? 3 touchdowns and
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Poke
yes.
high.
that man would never.
Yes.
That man would never miss an opportunity to tell people.
right. And that's just not me. All right, guys, prepare your fingers for that super chat. Tonight's gonna be spicy. Let's
Super
get
chat.
into some of the topics. I know, No Saint, you got some shit on your desk as well.
Yes.
If you want to throw that out at us before I start the little shit that
Okay,
I caught on
so-
the internet.
So this is kind of self-serving, but on a lighter, the first one I got is a lighter note, and I think it's funny. So as I told you last night, LSU did the improbable, beat the #1 team twice in the last 2 days, and are going to the College World Series against Florida. So the pitcher that came in, it was 0-0, bottom of the 11th, extra innings, 0-0, one man on base, and they brought in soon-to-be professional closer. His name was Camden Massini. Now, what's great about this karma is that he said after they beat LSU Monday night, the first game they played, every single game is having the time of our lives right now, said closer Camden Manisi, who got the last 5 outs. Who can beat us? It seems pretty much impossible. So amount of fun we have is truly incredible. So this man comes in to try to get them out of this jam. First pitch thrown, jacked out of the stadium. Game over. I just thought that was pretty funny. Karma does come to play. Now, second story here out of Idaho. A sad note. This man, his name is apparently Majorjan Kaler, killed his 4 neighbors. One was the grandfather, 65-year-old Kenneth Guardipi and his daughter, 41-year-old Kenna Guardipi, their 18-year-old son Devin Smith, and 16-year-old son Aiken Smith. So apparently what triggered him was that earlier in the week, the 18-year-old was upstairs enjoying himself in the window and in front of the wife and the daughter who were down outside playing. I'm not sure how old the daughter was.
Okay.
So they called the police,
Wow.
and basically the 18-year-old was going to get what amounts to like just maybe a slap on the hand ticket, like a violation, like indecent exposure. Because I believe that if you're in your own house, you can kind of defend like, well, I didn't know the window was open or whatever. You know, it's kind of hard. So the man who went over there and deleted the family went over there to talk about it, and apparently the parents weren't very concerned about it, and it triggered him. So he went over there and shot them or deleted them all. And so all I can say to this is I don't know how I'd react if I had a daughter and that happened to. So I'm not going to say that I wouldn't do that. But again, this man, now that he did do that, is going to be out of everybody's life. He's going to be out of his daughter's life for life, and for people, including people that may not have anything to do with it, like the 16-year-old is now done.
Anger management, people. Anger management.
That's from the world of that's up in Idaho and near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is Coeur d'Alene is very,
I'm sorry,
very
someone
beautiful, but
someone
very
was in the window, exposed
in the window, having a good time.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh. Well, okay.
Curious pastime.
Yeah. Moving on.
Okay.
This
Throw that story
story
out. I won't bring any more stories like that.
No, you can. You
Oh,
can.
okay.
No, we
I was
good.
just gonna say it sounded like an episode of Fear Thy Neighbor until we got to the window. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna film that part.
Right. I love Fear Thy Neighbor. Does anyone else watch?
I will be watching after the
Never even
show.
heard of it.
Oh my God,
Oh,
Fear
it's
Thy
addicting.
Neighbor.
It's
It
addicting.
is. It's real stories of neighbors that had rivalries and somebody died. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Oh, it was
Like-
so funny. Me and my bestie was watching the episode, right?
Mhm.
It was filmed. Took place in Miami.
Mhm.
At the time, my bestie lived in Miami, right?
Mhm.
So, it was a story about the lady or whatever, and it was a crazy story. Okay, crazy story.
Mhm.
So then, Orlando gets someone, the maintenance man, to come in to fix something, and we were watching a whole different episode. He was like, "Oh, Fear That Neighbor." He says, "Did you see the episode with blah 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 blah?" We was like, "Yeah, that episode was crazy." He was like, "Yeah, that was my friend. She lives right there."
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Wow.
someone died.
You know,
Yeah,
in
that's
a case like that,
Mhm.
look, it's disgusting, right? But there wasn't physical contact. Was this guy performing for the person outside? You know what I mean? Like,
What exactly happened? No Saint.
So he was the one family lived on the bottom floor. The guy, the one that had the murderer guy, he lived on the bottom floor. The other family lived on the top floor. He was in the window masturbating.
Okay.
And the wife and the daughter were outside where they could see him doing that. Now,
Oh.
yes. Now they didn't say whether or not he was like facing them in the window or so that is unclear. But what isn't unclear is that he went over there to discuss it with the parents after they had a police report made out days later, and just a switch flipped because the parents, I don't know what they said. I don't know if they said, I guess nobody will know what they said.
The guy that was masturbating, how old was he?
18.
18.
and his
We don't
family
know
was
how.
like, no big deal.
Well, the grandfather and the mother, were like, allegedly were saying that, they weren't making a big deal about it. Like, it wasn't satisfying to the suspect.
So he killed all of them.
Yeah, because we don't know how old this daughter was too. Like that's
Yeah, they did
that
not
plays
say
a
that.
big part. Because like her being 17 versus her being 4, like
Right.
this could get real tricky.
Right. They didn't say. They did
Okay,
not say.
So what had happened was he was beaten off in the window. The wife and the kid saw. The wife told the husband. They made a police report. They lived in the same edificio, in the same house?
Yes.
Just upstairs and downstairs?
Different apartments or
Like-
whatever, but same
okay.
complex, yes.
Okay, and then a couple days later, the father was like, fuck all that, and I'm going to kill everybody in the house?
Well, he went over there to speak with them.
Okay, again. Okay.
And because the charges were going to be like a misdemeanor, it wasn't going to be anything.
Right, they weren't going to do anything. Right,
And so he went over there to speak to him about the situation, and the attitude of the parents were not satisfactory to the suspect. And so he had a gun and he pulled it out and he offed
the whole family. Murked the whole family. So
including
mama, daddy,
the 16-year-old.
The little brother, the masturbator, the mother, and the father. Do we have a race on these people? Just curious.
Yes, because I was going to tell you it was in near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is kind of KKK country. They were all white.
Okay, so the guy went to the guy's house and was like, "Oh, this is our time.
Yes.
This is our time right here."
Yes.
Okay. All right. I get it. Anger management is your friend. I don't know if my dad would have did anything different, to be honest.
I was just about to say,
because my dad, I've heard. Listen, I've been in certain situations, and I've been, just eavesdropping on certain conversations with my father, and I have heard him say everyone in the house. Now I don't know if my dad was being serious, but seeing as he already did time for manslaughter, yeah, I wasn't fucking with my dad because he would say that that type of shit, like everybody in the house is gonna go.
Well, and evidently this he talked a lot to the police before he lawyered up, and he said he told his wife that he tell his daughters he protected them and took care of business.
All right.
Yeah.
He was unapologetic as a mother.
Yeah. The only he just fucked up murking the whole family.
I don't see the problem. I mean,
of course, I don't see the problem.
Look, listen. Some eggs got broken. I'm pretty sure some plates got busted up while he was in there. This shit just happens.
My dad would have loved you, Haran. Oh my dad would have loved you. Yeah, extreme perhaps, right? But anger issues are a motherfucker. Like you snap, you black out. And just the thought of this man masturbating, your child having seen that. I keep telling people that it's a sexual assault in a way. It's just a virtual sexual assault. Like people think it's no big deal that women get random dick pics. They're like, oh, it's so funny. It is to show someone your penis, someone that unsolicited. It's a sexual, to me, it's a visual, virtual sexual assault for me to see that. And you know me, you can't fuck with me because I go too far. I always go too far. I've sent dick pics to their mother's DMs. I put the dick pics on their wall. And here's the beauty of social media. All these idiots, like I said before, they tell on themselves. So all you got to do is go to their Facebook, and how that cute little list, mother, father, aunt. All of them are seeing your dick. If they haven't seen it yet, they're going to see it today. So I start DMing them. Is this your son? Is this your daughter? Is this your, I take the time. I go too far. That's why I'm like, don't poke me because I go too far. And then it's like, it's bad for everybody.
No, Jen, I got that from you. I stole that from you because I started doing that.
That's
Thank
funny.
you. Thank you. Because
it just got ridiculous after a while. It just got really ridiculous after a while.
It's a violation. Really? So I'm like, if I have to see your dick, your aunt's going to see it, your grandma's going to see it, your mama's going to see it, your father's going to see it, your uncle, and your friends. Whoever they have on that list, aunt, mother, nephew, uncle, all of them are getting your dick. We're all going to see the dick now. Everybody.
Boss.
Everybody.
Everybody.
And I can't blame you.
Yeah, whoever. It's just the most disgusting violation ever. It's really so. I can imagine.
It doesn't compare with a physical violation, but I get what you're saying.
Well, no, it doesn't compare. But it as a woman getting a dick pic,
and they're all the time. They're unsolicited. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. I don't understand it. Like.
And if you're, in my opinion, if a man does that, he is a sexual predator. He should be on a sex offenders list. That is how serious it is. If you're pulling your penis out for a woman that you don't know to see it, you, sir, are a sexual offender. It is not
So that
cute.
goes
It is
under
not
indecent
sexy.
exposure.
It's
That should go under.
you are a sexual offender. And my thing is if you don't care about violating a woman like that in the virtual world, what's to stop you in the real world? What's to stop you from pulling out your
Well,
dick
you're
when
a
somebody's
pussy
going to
because you hide behind your phone. That's what's to stop you in the real world. But you know,
Yeah, that's true.
I
just
can't. I
like
have to assume that this guy was like legitimately masturbating at the wife and daughter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was a casual, he was in the room in a shaft of sunlight. Pardon the word, shaft. But you know what I mean? Like,
I kind of like it, David. You can keep it.
Shut
You
your
can keep
mouth.
it in.
You know,
I would
that-
say that,
You
and
had
he
a
was
date with
probably
Rosie Palm.
yeah, and it's like, and
her
it's
5
like
seconds.
18 years old. I'm sure he watched porn all day and all night and was like, yeah, let's get it. It's like, yeah. Listen, I don't know, because me knowing my dad the way I know my dad.
I got some random tits put in my DMs the other day.
Oh,
Women do that too.
Not well, apparently the person says, "Hey, I love you on the block with Jen," and I'm like,
That was
"Oh,"
nice. Wow.
and it's like, oh, so I was like, "Okay, so this is what I got to look forward to."
that's why,
Yeah.
Haran. I saw
Get
you.
ready, Haran. Get ready,
I
Haran.
saw you on your
This is
phone.
what I
going,
gotta
what was that?
Oh my goodness, what is happening?
Well, and I think this is the thing, Jen, is that we still, and I don't think seasoned guys think this, but I think young guys are still under the mindset that because they want a woman to do that to them, then the woman likes the same thing, and it just doesn't. It's not the same.
Yeah,
It's
porn
just not.
teaches them that, and yeah,
Guys don't mind a good-looking woman or even an average-looking woman, and sometimes an ugly woman,
I'm an ugly woman.
to take pictures of themselves and send in their DM. Women, on the other hand, don't like it unless they ask for it.
Yes. Yeah, because let's be clear. We like a good dick pic.
Yeah.
But it has to
I've
be
never-
asked for.
A one that
I
you
have
want.
I have
One that I want.
never in my life looked at a guy and said, I would love to see his dick pic in my DMs. Now, if you are
I
my
have.
man and I already have seen it,
But that's
then
what I
by
mean.
all
Like,
means,
yeah.
then by all means, send it. Surprise me with it. If I've touched it, licked it, kissed it, sucked it, it's been in me. I want to see it. Send it to me. Send it to me
Right.
while I'm with my girlfriend. Send it to me while I'm at work. I'm all for that. But if I do not know you, go jump off a bridge before you send me your dick.
You hear that, gentlemen? These chicks don't want dickapalooza. That shit is.
Yeah, it's gross. It's disgusting. It's
And then
disgusting.
and the thing too, what gets me is the age of some of these guys. Really, sir? Really? You got grandchildren. What are we doing here?
Let me tell you, one
never-
time I'm gonna show you. There's this guy, really quickly so we could get to the topics. There was this guy. We met on Facebook and we were talking for a while, right? And you know how I say all guys start with 100 and then what you do and say after cuts you down to like 99, 80, whatever, right? Because I don't know you enough not to trust you. And I'm not one of those women that goes into things like, you have a penis, you can't be trusted. Like I'm like, look, I don't know you. You seem great here. Let's see what you do with that, okay? He started at 100, had his own business, kind of cute. He was a little beige for my taste, a little beige, but still kind of cute. And we get to talking. The first strike, he calls me. He's like, hey, this is way back when I lived in New York. He was like, hey, I'm going to be in New York, blah, blah, blah. So we talk. I was like, oh, cool. What are you doing? Yeah, I'm coming with my family. Blah, blah, blah. He was like, can I crash with you? And I was like, I don't know you, sir. I don't know you.
Oh
Right?
God, can I crash?
Can I crash?
Oh
Yes.
no. Yeah, you can crash into a wall.
Right. So I was like, that was like strike one. So then it's like the conversation started getting, less and less. But unfortunately, a lot of men, they don't understand social cues. They don't understand she's just not that into you. But I was like, he wasn't bad enough to where I'm completely cutting you off. Don't call. And then he sends me
His
the dick
amigo.
pic. His amigo. He sends me his amigo. He thought it would be funny.
Oh.
Now, on top of it, wasn't
Or
funny.
maybe to get him a place to stay. One or the
And
other.
this is a pointer for the guys, okay? If you're gonna send a dick pic to a woman you love or a woman who's seen your thing before and wants it, blah blah. Here's the thing with me, and I spoke about this before: insult to injury. Photographing a dick is also an art.
No ashy dick pics?
Facts.
Okay,
No.
it's also an art. You have to know how to hold it in your hand so it looks like the best thing you got. Right? There's a certain way you can't. Don't do this. Right?
Don't put the remote next to it.
Don't do this.
Oh, the remote.
Make sure.
I love the
Make sure.
remote.
Not
Yeah.
the-
Make sure it's not
Not the
next to
comparison.
anything where we can gauge anything the size. Don't put it by the remote control shit. Don't do that because you don't know
the Red Bull can.
you don't know the biggest she's ever seen. So it's a stupid move. You just don't know. Right, exactly. You don't know. And please, like, put some lotion on it. Oil it up, but just that old dry. I can see the hair on the nuts. Dick pics. You're not even gripping it like a man. You're kind of like
lip
it's
balls and your balls.
right. It's kind of like if it's your dick, get a grip on it. Get a grip on it. Like it's your web. Don't hit me with that. What the fuck? Don't do this.
And
Don't do
How is
this.
that?
Ironically,
It's my gavel
Yeah.
because I'm always judging David.
You're dropping the hammer.
and if you're little fizz, don't send one at all to anyone ever in life.
Yeah,
ever again.
Don't do that. Just
Never again.
Yeah, and if you are gonna wrap your hand around it, make sure your fucking fingernails are clean. You fucking Neanderthal. Make sure your fingernails are clean. I'm telling you, you're gonna learn here today. You're gonna learn. I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all being Neanderthals.
A dick pic. Go get a mani and pedi first.
Please.
Go
Light a candle.
on a spa date.
Listen, I'm
And
taking
then,
pictures.
or the standing one, and then they're standing in those funky ass socks. So that you get the funky ass socks and the dick in between. That's not sexy. I don't know who raises y'all. What the hell are y'all doing?
I got one for you. How about when it's in someone else?
They do that too, David.
do that
They
too. I
do.
know.
They do.
I
Yes.
know.
Yes. Actually, I got one of those. Was it yesterday?
You can always
Yeah.
count on this
Nice,
show to
very
go to
considerate.
places where it just
Yeah.
really did
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm taking photos next
the most
month.
unnecessary.
I am going to get my first Brazilian wax. I'm sure.
You gotta document it. That's content.
That is content.
Kelly Clarkson.
Don't
Yep.
play with me.
Because I document my laser hair removal, so I mean that'd be.
Or maybe
why
I'll
don't
do that. I think we have that too. So
I
But
love
why don't-
laser.
Wait a
would
minute.
never
No
get a
Saint.
Brazilian.
Wait. No Saint. Wait. You don't have to be Ken Ball. Just take your clippers. Get you some clippers.
listen, I
Careful with
use.
clippers.
I mean, just a little bit. I hope my mom's not watching because I do have family
Mom.
that,
Hey, Mom.
that are tuning
Hey.
in. But I do use the razor. But the razor doesn't work like that.
Get you a really good clippers that cuts down low. You don't. I personally don't like the metrosexual. Everything is smooth. Like
Yeah.
that's just my taste. But I like a guy that manscapes.
Yeah, well,
Just take care.
I've kind of listen. It
Stubble, you
just
into
feels it feels
Not
better with all of
stubble,
it
but-
off. With all of it off, it just does.
Yeah,
It just-
and it looks
it-
bigger, and it looks bigger without
Well,
there.
No
okay,
aerodynamic. I mean,
yeah,
come
but
on.
not just that.
Slice
We've
through
talked
the
about
wind.
my lack of swag. I don't know what kind of style to put on that, so just clip it all off.
No, it's no style. Just clip it all off. I agree.
Yeah.
Take it all off. Take it all off. Take it all off. Get it off your
When
balls.
when in doubt. When in doubt. When in
Get it
doubt.
off. Get it off.
Just
Um,
etch your Red Sox logo in at the top.
George, I was about to say that. I'm like, this feels like
Yes.
Freaky Friday.
Yes, I was looking at his. I'm looking at his.
All right, let's get off the dicks. Pause. Let's get off the dicks.
Do we have
Okay.
Hey, I've never been
So-
told to do that before, but okay.
Okay. Hello.
Nobody ever put me on.
Hello. Lily, I'm trying to get out of Freaky Friday. You're not helping.
Okay.
Okay. Because I'm like, when she said that, I was like, oh, I remember something. See that one eye closed, Lily? That one eye closed. I said, oh, I remember that shit. I was like, I can't even close both eyes on that shit. Leave me alone.
Them flashbacks.
Okay. Woo. Yes, Lord. All right. So this story was in the timelines. Some people talked about it. What did you think about the graduation mic drop? First of all, salute to all the kids that have graduated this year. Salute to all the kids that didn't graduate and decided I'm going to go be an entrepreneur. There's both. There's money in both. Okay. Just have a fucking plan, children. Have a plan. Okay. School isn't for everybody, but salute to everybody who has the discipline to finish school. So congratulations to all the graduates for this year. Did you see the graduation mic drop?
Yes.
Okay, well, I have it for you. Yes, I do. I have the mic drop, and I also have the young lady explaining what happened. And I want us to dissect this because she's getting a lot of criticism. Candace Owens went in and called her everything today everything but a child of God today.
Oh,
Okay, so we're going to talk about this. Yes, Candace.
she's out of character.
Right. So listen, there's a lot of time on the clock when she's not right. Okay. Right twice a day means that there's a whole lot of hours where she's wrong. Okay. All right. I'm just saying. I take Candace in spurts. So this is the graduation mic drop, and it went viral, and it's getting a lot of dissecting. Here we go. Put the volume up. Her name is Kadia Aman.
Okay, let go. You didn't let me get my moment, so I want to say my name is Khadija Cadiano, and I'm graduating today. I don't like how you snatched the mic out of my hand, so today is going to be all about me.
Oh, drops the mic. Congratulations!
Now, let me play it again because I know it started very suddenly and abruptly, and you guys are probably like, what the fuck is happening? And you guys are the jury, so you got to watch it again. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Hold on. Didn't the lady snatch the mic out of her hand?
Well, we're going to get into that.
Okay.
Let's show it one more time.
Okay, let go. You didn't let me get my moment, so I want to say my name is Khadija Cadiano, and I'm graduating today. I don't like how you snatched the mic out of my hand, so today is going to be all about me.
Oh, drops the mic. Congratulations!
And for the record, that was not me. That was a graduate from.
I thought that was a church ceremony, but okay. From Jen at church.
Okay. Let me hear what you guys think just watching that. We're going to do just like court before I play the video of her saying what happened. What do you think about just the video? What do you just the video? What do you think?
It's unnecessary.
Okay. Yeah, perspective. Okay. Yeah, that perspective, it looks like a lot. It looks disruptive. It looks ratchet.
Okay.
Me. Fuck everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I think it happened maybe is that she was not allowed to graduate on stage, and she was angry about that. She didn't get her moment, so she decided to go there and announce it, because the lady that had the mic originally kind of looks like one of the people that would be up on stage handing out diplomas and things like that. So that's what I think might have been happening.
George?
Yeah, like the most of you, I kind of thought it was like completely out of place, unnecessary. But I will say this, Jen. When I graduated high school, my classmates voted me to give the invocation at graduation. And I will tell you that I had undue pressure from several school administrators that if I even as much as mention the name of Jesus in my prayer, that they were like, we'll stop you from graduating. Of course, they couldn't do that.
Jeez.
And so this shit happens. So I don't know where I'm going with this is if she was trying to say something, who knows what it was, and they stepped in and said, no, we're going to take that away from you. Maybe so. But I want to hear the rest of it. But yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to play her explaining, and this has been dissected. I mean, it's 50-50. A lot of people like, yes, go sister. That's right. What the fuck with it? And other people are like, she's everything from she's a racist and she was picking on that old white woman to she was ghetto and ratchet. The only critique I had for her is the reason why she has such a hard time removing the mic is because she went this way. When someone has a grip on you or your wrist or something, you go towards the thumb. The thumb will open. Okay? If someone's grabbing you by your wrist, you push towards the thumb will open. Don't go this way because these fingers are stronger. Okay? It's a little tip, all right? So had she done that, there wouldn't have been such a struggle. I was looking at the tactical part of it, but I'm different.
You just do the thumb and just press it into. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let's hear her explanation. Got her explanation.
My name is long. My name, obviously, I have like 3 syllables in my name. I'm not gonna say exactly my name right now, but okay, just so you get a point. So I didn't even finish getting to say my name. And then the people that went before me and everything, they all got to say their name, their major, and even extras. And me and another girl noticed that she was pulling the mic down super fast for some black people. I don't want to be that person, but that was the tea. So, I mean, I just couldn't let that happen because I just feel like I worked so hard to graduate and went through so much shit to graduate that I just felt like I had to reclaim my moment. I'm sorry, like, I'm not a problematic person. I don't want to ruin no one's day. I don't want to violate anybody, but that's what she did. She didn't even let me finish speaking. She put the mic down, cut me off, and that was the only time I was able to speak. So I just feel like that wasn't right.
So before I give you more details, what do you think about that explanation?
I still feel the
stand where I
same.
stand.
I still feel, yeah, still feel the
Still
same.
the
This is an example of absolutely poor impulse control. Young
Right.
lady, that little moment that occurred to you will pale in comparison to the many other moments in your life where you will feel as if you've been wrongly, handed some shit, or you feel that it's been unjust.
Mhm.
It happens. Now, if she was in some way abrasive with her or whatever, or if it was something that was really something that's a cause of concern, I don't know, but I would address it behind the scenes. You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey, this particular woman is, behaving in a way that's bothering my child. But to sit there and basically just arm wrestle a woman on camera, and this thing is going to follow you for the rest of your life. Nah. And the thing about it is that in our community, in the Black community, here, man, we love us some poor impulse control. You can't root for this and not root for Will Smith. You know what I mean?
Anyone else after?
Yeah.
Anyone else after?
Yeah, no, it's all this like it's a couple of things. Like I'm seeing the whole. I think David said this is the me time, right? It's about me and my moment. And there was other kids there too who she even said were being slighted. They didn't do it, right? So she was like, "No, I'm going to be the one to do it." Did she do it for herself, or did she just do it for the whole crew, right? I felt like there was a number of different ways that she could have gone about doing it. Like at this particular point in time, like this is not when we graduated where there was no cell phones, right? So I'm pretty sure she could have texted and say, "Mom, hey, before I get up there, can you make sure she says my name? Can you tap somebody on the shoulder and say that she's not, that she's pulling the mic down with people, or could she have tapped somebody, or could she have done it herself, or could she have waited?" I just feel like there was a number of ways, because then we're going back to that whole thing, right? When it comes to us, we have this pressure of acting right, because we don't want to be looked at a certain way in front of white people. So you got that going on as well, but you don't even have to add that in. That this doesn't, like, I would just, even if this was a graduation just full of all Black people, like I wouldn't just want to be seen on camera like this 10 years from now, because that moment would pass and it won't be as important 5 to 10 years from now. So based off of what we're seeing, that's how I feel.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm going to go here. So they both can be wrong, right? I mean, her reaction can be wrong, and the lady with the mic could be wrong as well, because this is a graduation. There's no reason for someone to be pulling a mic away and having that control unless there are some underlying things that we don't know about, like some kind of, rule that's going on. I don't know. But I'm just saying that I think I understand where she's coming from. This is a big moment in her life. And evidently she wasn't allowed to say her name. This is the one time again. And I know what Lily's saying. Unfortunately, that quick gratification is going to last on social media now until she dies, or even further on. You probably can find that video somewhere. So, I'd like to hear a little bit more on exactly what's going on, but that's my point right now.
For me, Jen, as somebody who, I think she mentioned they got their major sheet. So this was college. They were graduating from college. And as somebody who took 17 years to get a 4-year degree, and, I guess you could say I took the scenic route, to get it. I can kind of understand her feeling. It's like, this is a major accomplishment in your life. But at the end of the day, I kind of have to stand with Haran on basically it's kind of like the whole decorum and everything right there. I felt like in the end, even though she may have been justified in being angry, she debased herself in the end. Her dignity, she gave up her dignity, at that moment. I don't want to make it too dramatic, but it's kind of like you can be wrong and you can be right and still be wrong in the end.
Yeah, that's a great point. I like that. You can be right and still be wrong. I'm gonna use that on my grandbabies.
Right, I like that one.
This goes down the line of anger management, man. There are many a times in my life where I've acted, impulsively, and looking back right now.
Okay, so let me jump in here. I like how we're all perched up in our 40s talking about what we shouldn't be, what shouldn't be doing, and impulse control. I mean, look at us all in our 40s, like, oh, look at that person acting so irrationally. I'm just gonna fuck. So let me throw some dirt on it because I'm the devil's advocate. Brown skin girl in America has a 3-syllable name. I have a 3-syllable name. I would cringe every time a motherfucker would mispronounce my name. Okay, you can say charcuterie board, you can say penicillin, oxycontin, you can say a lot of shit, but you can't say Janicia, you dumb bitch. It is phonetic. Read it. It is not Jessica. It is not Jennifer. It is not Jenica. There's no K in my name. Stop being lazy and fucking read it. She has a 3-syllable name. Okay, brown skin girl in America. The white lady. Here
it comes.
So this is what she's saying happened. I thought the setup was cheap and stupid. The white lady's job was to go like this with the microphone. There was 2 lines of graduates, and the white lady was going back and forth. Hi, I'm graduated in my majors, blah, blah. She was going back and forth. First of all, I don't think that lady should have had that job. It's hot out there. You're fucking standing out there for hours. There are hundreds of students. They should have had a podium with a microphone. How much would that have cost? Really? How much would a box with a microphone that would have cost? No. Sounds like a stupid setup to begin with. So according to this girl, they weren't placing the microphone in the students' hands. They were like doing this, like, hi, da, 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 da. So her and a couple of her friends noticed, according to her, I wasn't there. According to her, they were noticing that every time the lady put the microphone on a black student's, up to their face, she would just pull it down like, okay, whatever, next. So some of the girls weren't able to say everything they wanted to say. Some girls were saying, I'm such and such, my major was blah, blah, hi, mom, or I love you, mom, or yeah, I did it, or hey, some other girl said Jamaica, afterwards. And I think that the lady got frustrated probably. That's my assumption without being present. Here we have an older white woman. It's fucking hot. Fuck these damn kids. There's 500 of them. Why am I standing out here doing this shit all night? That's what I think happened. So you have, my name's been getting mispronounced my entire life. I'm a brown skin girl. I already don't get no fucking respect. I earn this shit. So you're going to give me my fucking respect today. That's what the fuck y'all going to do. I don't care who it is. So I go up there to get my moment. And bitch, I'm already on a 10 and you're going to do the shit to me with the microphone, yeah, I'm fucking you up. And fuck this graduation. I'm turning the table over. Now, as far as, and I'll pass the mic on this, as far as like, oh my God, it's so terrible. It's going to follow her for life. Do you recall what country this is and where we are? It's probably good that it follows her. She can probably get t-shirts made, open up a little business. She could be an entrepreneur now. She can sell microphones. This is America.
What if she doesn't
She can
want
sell microphones. She can sell microphone. I went to her TikTok. She wants that. She can sell microphones that you could drop and they're unbreakable. She also does music, pretty good music too. I was surprised.
Oh wow!
Because I was like, she's probably cool. She was like, I didn't plan for this. I wanted my moment. Here's some more information. No one was there for her at that graduation. No parents, no siblings, no family. She was there alone.
Wow.
So going back to what Haran said, that person disrespecting you is nothing compared to what life is going to do. We don't know what that girl's been through.
Okay.
But she made mention behind the scenes before like all of that happened, and she was dressed in her cap and gown. She has a video up. She's like, "Hey, I did it. No one came here for me, but it's okay." And I'm like, this is a child at the end of the day, graduating college, and no one is there. And now you're in a sea of people where everybody's parents is in the building. So we just don't know. So I give her a pass. I give her a pass. It happens. Yep.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can understand what Will Smith was going through because you don't know what he was going through. You don't know
No. That's different. That's different. And here's why. And it's completely different. Here's a man. This is how it's completely different.
Because he's a grown man?
A grown man. I'm saying Will Smith was a grown man. Should have known
that's
better.
your opinion, right? Well, that's a good factor. I didn't even think about that, George. He is an adult, but this is why it's completely different. You are a beige, very well loved Black man in America. You are wealthy. You got money to wipe your ass and your balls with. You can afford the best of therapy. Your therapist could have been sitting between you and that bald-headed scallywag at the Oscars. Okay? You were talking about a girl who is not wealthy, who's very, very young. Okay? 1/3 Will Smith's age at this point, who had no parents there, dark skin, in America, with a 3-syllable name. And all she wanted, think about it, all this girl wanted was to say her damn name and her major and walk off. That's really all she wanted.
So
Will Smith wants to be Tupac. And whose fault is that? Whose fault is it that?
He has to practice impulse control because he has more to lose. That's what you're saying?
No, I said the opposite. I said he has the opportunity to not act like an animal. He has the resources.
Everyone
does. He has love. Okay?
Everyone has that opportunity to not act like an animal.
She's a child. She doesn't.
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Not act like an animal.
She's a child. What I'm saying is, the reason why I give her the pass, what I'm saying is she's a child without the resources that Will Smith has. Comparing her to Will Smith is ridiculous.
We're going to agree to disagree on
It's ridiculous. It's like comparing a guy on the corner in the hood that tells jokes to Kevin Hart. There's no comparison.
I think it is because Kevin Hart is.
Well, they're both not funny. Right. But I'm saying that
the guy on the corner might be a little bit funnier.
Will Smith has the money and the wisdom to not run up there and slap people.
I'm going to say I think my stance comes from a personal, like mine is a little bit personal. Why I'm not changing, I'm going to tell you why. I think I'm just sick of outbursts. And public, I think that's what it is. I think it's just that I'm sick of everybody trying to get a moment at every single chance. And so she could have been 100% right, and I probably wouldn't change my mind in this moment just because of that particular thing. I think that's what it is with me. Yeah.
So, I'm with you on that, Lily.
Well, then both of you guys need to have some introspective if that's something that because you need to really be able to judge things individually no matter what, right?
You're right.
Jen, they
would tell you that on the jury too. It's not
So-
about what happened to you.
That's right. And I'm gonna tell them the truth so they can send my ass home. I don't want to be here.
so kind of what I was saying before is which was my issue with the woman with the mic, was that even if let's just say, because listen, the girl that the lady that graduated that was looking and saying, well, for the black people, it looked like she was yanking the mic quickly. Might be true, but I know one thing: when you're driving, and say I'm driving, I'm just going to throw this out here, and I'm driving. There may be somebody with a Biden sticker that cuts me off, and I'll give him a pass. That dude with the Trump sticker, I'm going to be
Trump
the
sticker.
fucking Trumper. Figures, right? It's a bias, right? So she's looking, and she might have been pulling that mic away from a white girl too, but she doesn't notice it as much, right? I'm just saying that could be possible. My whole thing with the lady is, what the fuck are you taking the mic away quick? This is somebody's moment. They've spent 4-6 years in a college graduating.
Well,
And that's why I have a problem with what that lady did, because she was being an asshole no matter what.
And there has been.
Follow Wendy, you don't give up the mic, right? you have to maintain control of the mic, and kids are going to go on and on and on if given the opportunity or without any rein. So I understand having to control the mic and keep things moving in a graduation and everything like that. The other thing is that this was a graduation. There were lots of people who had family there. All of those family had their cell phones up. Wait till the rest of the video comes out. Then what we'll see. I was perusing news while we were talking about this, and there's not a single interview. No one talked to the old white lady. We have no idea what her perspective was. It's all focused on this young woman. So the truth will be revealed.
Yeah, but there was another girl who came out and said, she didn't pull the mic away from me fast, and I'm black. So, everybody has a different story.
Right.
And that's what makes a good jury. It's up to us to decide. I would vote to acquit.
Well, here's the thing.
It was a moment.
Well, here's the thing. You said that this young lady
I vote to wag the finger.
You said that young lady has been through a number of things. She doesn't have any family there. She's dealing with a number of issues. Maybe she might have been in the mode of being just very reactive, period. She could
perhaps
just be very emotional. She could have been just in a state where she's misreading certain things.
But you can relate to that, right, Haran?
Well, before you cut me off, I was about to explain that when I was younger, you know what I mean, I got into a situation with a teacher once, you know what I mean, and it ended up with me calling them all kinds of colorful names and slurs and so on and so forth. And it's a great thing that there were no such thing as cell phones and cameras back then, you know what I mean. But I understand. But it just didn't excuse me looking back at it. It didn't excuse my behavior.
Because looking back at it.
Because at the end of the day, I had a choice. Choice.
Right, but looking back at it is the key words. Looking back at it. So she would have to mature like you and be like, oh, maybe that wasn't necessary. Or she'd be like, fuck that white bitch.
Right, but it will still not negate the fact that at some point in time, she will probably be like, yeah, I did fuck up that time. And I might be there to tell her, like, yeah, you did.
Right. Or she may say, fuck that white bitch.
And she can very well say that.
I do want to go back to something you said, Lily, because you said you're just tired of outbursts. And I think we all are, but it's because we're seeing them. Outbursts have been going on since the Garden of Eden. Right. Mm-hmm. It's just because, and shit goes on all day, every day. People getting beat down at the DMV. And it's just, we're not privy to it. But, seeing it over and over again, it does get sickening. It's like, oh my God, woe is me. So I just wanted to dissect this. And there are no wrong answers. I love that everybody is sticking to their guns. This would be a fucking hung jury because I would be like, let that girl go home. But it's interesting to see what happened and then the behind the scenes. But I get it. I know where she's coming from. She's young. She had no family there. She's a dark-skinned girl in America. She has a long fucking name. She's probably been catching shit for her whole life. This is her one fucking thing. This is her one fucking thing. You know what I mean? So salute to her. Go ahead, baby girl.
Yes, congratulations on your graduation, young lady.
Now grow the fuck up.
And let me tell you something. The fucking vice grip that bitch had on that mic, I gotta feel like she's an asshole.
Did you see that in the comments? There was something in the comments. I was gonna die.
And anybody else, let me tell you something. Any other innocent white woman would be like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" She was like,
well,
back to the field, Negro.
That comment was like she had those old white lady mop wringing hands. She was not letting go.
The one thing that I would want to,
I don't know. I think it was Vegatron.
Oh, that shit was funny.
The one thing I would want to know about that situation is that was this something like, in other words, and maybe the youth played into this, and she already had a preconception that this lady was, grabbing the mic quickly from black people. But I wonder if she said, "Hey, I would like to say something," and then the white lady said, No, we got to move on. You know what I'm saying? That I would want to know that too. Did she approach? Because
she said that she was at the mic and she was trying to get her name out. And she was like, my name has 3 syllables. It's not a short name. I guess she was saying before she could finish her name, the lady was like, next.
Right,
Which
right.
to me,
and
I
what
think
I'm
the
saying,
system's stupid.
Right. And that's why I'm saying that I place at least half the blame on her, because I'm trying to imagine myself. Someone asked me, "Hey, can I have a long name?" I think I would have. I mean, I know I would have the. Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just that easy. It's just that
for
easy.
sure. I mean, I would have done. I totally get her feelings. Like that part is valid. It's fun, and I'm like that with anyone. One thing I tell everybody: don't ever apologize for your feelings. And it's what you do with those feelings that may have to, make you have to cause you to have to apologize or something. But the feelings itself, no, you don't ever apologize for those, even if they're wrong. But they're, because you feel them, it's real, it's valid in that moment. So
yeah, and I'm at the age. I volunteered for anger management. Yay, Jen. I'm at the age where it's like, control your impulses, or let people talk and then respond. But I understand where she is, because I was that girl. I was back then. I didn't have impulse control. I was snatching wigs. Okay, so I get it.
Hold on. Did you see what Omar Vegatron wrote in here? This shit had me laughing.
I would have been like, bitch, try holding a microphone with no hand, you bitch.
Listen, I get it, to a degree. I mean, I still struggle with things. I remember, I think it was maybe a year or 2 ago, I think I called Jen and I told her I slapped a guy in the face. I'm at a bar or whatever, and the cops came and shit. Oh yeah, it was a thing. You know what I mean? They let me go. They let us go, but I dropped this guy. You know what I mean? Or whatever, and she basically gave me the rigmarole. You grown man, and so on. So and it was true. It was true. But but I'm looking from the lens of, I just, in my sense, I just don't want these kids making the kind of mistakes that I made in my life. Because sometimes it's like, I made it out, but I don't know if you're gonna make it out.
And we made it out. We made it out without cameras.
And that's the whole thing. Like, just because I jumped and made it doesn't mean you're gonna fucking jump and make it. Yeah. So I don't want to see you do it.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know what I mean? We just have to watch our noses, ladies and gentlemen, because them noses were high when I played that video. Them noses was up here.
It's still high.
with the I had the ruffled shirts on and everything.
Yes.
I
had my glasses on.
The monocle. I had them.
Yeah. And my glasses on.
It was such fuckery.
He was like, what is that?
Exactly. Nonsense. Nonsense.
Rubbish.
Exactly.
Look at that comment. Oh my God.
Well, hold on. Did you see what Umar Johnson wrote? He said
we get a good job.
He said the girl's name was, he said make it, he reenacted the scene. He said make it short, and he says la cana la Girl, we just gonna call you Keisha today. That's first to me.
It was Kadia. It was Kadia.
But no, what's
Yeah,
funny
it's a
is
pretty
I did
name.
go to it is a pretty name, but the last graduation I went to though, I was looking through the program and I was like, these damn names. I'm so glad I don't have to pronounce them. I'm glad, like literally that's what I was thinking. I'm so glad I'm not up there because I will fuck up like half those names that was on that.
And that's probably why they were letting the kids say their own names.
Right, until they didn't say Jenica.
Smart,
Oh
yes.
God.
Yo,
Oh
look,
God.
no one gets my wrong. I got lucky.
Oh,
You say
everyone,
my
I'm
name wrong.
Lily.
Yeah.
They Lily me to death.
Oh, they Lily you? Yeah.
Oh, they Lily
Well,
me
they
to
Dave
death.
me. We've
Oh
talked
yes,
about
they do
Dave.
Dave you to death. Yeah.
I thought I did this. I did not do this. Okay, so hit that like and subscribe. I want to give an honorable mention to the loss of the submersible in Ocean Gate. Right, we heard what a day ago, it was official that they were lost.
Yesterday at noon.
Yeah, and the evidence shows that the submersible imploded or exploded. Either way, it was imploded. They said the pressure, because it was made of titanium and carbon, some other shit. They said it was basically, once they went to a certain depth, that it was basically like having the Empire State Building leaning on that object. So on top of it. So imagine that little object and the weight of the Empire State Building on that object, and it imploded.
But they died instantly.
They died instantly,
which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing. And rest in peace to them. And I just want to say this really quickly. I'm saying rest in peace, not because other people don't die every day, people die every day, right? However, that's a story that was brought to our attention. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known. So I think it's okay. It's becoming not okay to empathize and sympathize with other people. It's like that's becoming wrong too now. It's like you can't sympathize with them. They were billionaires. Fuck them billionaires. And I'm like, we have to watch what we're morphing into with social media. We have to be very careful because although it's all good, it's fun and the memes were funny. The jokes were funny to everybody. We have to remember that this is the world that our children are growing up in. That is what we forget when we're being dicks online. This is the world. Everything that we're giving a pass to, everything that we think is funny, that's the world that we are leaving to our children. So when it's your children in a submersible and you're scrolling social media and it's a big joke about it, keep the same energy. Okay.
Hence why we're having,
and one of them was a child.
One
of them was a child who died.
Energy when it comes to the living.
So
don't do things like putting random dick pics in people's DMs. Don't be an asshole. Don't.
So there was a lot of fighting online because people felt these people should not be sympathized with or empathized with. So
because they were billionaires,
right? So his aunt, the boy's aunt, the 19-year-old. Hold on, the 19-year-old's aunt. She gave a very tearful interview, and she was saying that they were being tortured with the idea where they grasping, for air, trying to breathe, which is hell for any family member when you're thinking your family member fucking suffocated in a floating coffin. And it turns out they died instantly. And she said that's at least a relief. And I'm glad that she spoke because it's sad that you have to humanize people for other people to realize, oh, you were a human being. Right. And that's the aunt talking. I can't even imagine the state his mother is in. I can't even imagine. Making it worse, he was terrified to get on there. He did not want to go. He did not want to go. However, it fell on Father's Day weekend and he wanted to bond with his dad, and his dad was obsessed with the Titanic. So he went, but he was terrified. He didn't want to go, but he was like, this is my opportunity to hang out with dad. So it's like, I get it. Haves, have nots. They have money. They deserve no sympathy. Fuck them. Let's, you know what I mean? But I'm like, these are just
humans.
My worry is the humanity of it, right? Not that they were better than anybody, because I don't feel like a billionaire is better than me. You're just in a different tax bracket. We're all people. But I'm just, it's getting scary. on these nets. And yeah, we had a gay old time. I mean, I saw jokes and memes. I mean, they were nonstop. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. And I was like, I wonder if those people are LGBT or if they were Black, what would the atmosphere be?
Right.
Even being billionaires, had they been LGBT and had they did the little ocean gate floating with the rainbow flag on it, had they been Black, you know what I mean, and been like, oh, them women survived because they wouldn't wet their hair. Like, I wonder if it would have been as funny, or would there have been a march from Fifth Avenue to the South Bronx because there were jokes being made of this demographic of people. So all I'm saying is, do unto others like you want others to do unto you, like the Christian side.
Valid. And I don't like, I've never seen such, I don't want to say animus, but like I've never seen such a lack of empathy,
was
for
horrible.
a disaster. And
This is
also
the first time.
an insensitivity in terms of, read a long article about a submarine, whoever drives a fucking submarine, a submarine guy,
Submariner.
Submariner, writing about, what is, assuming that it was drifting and they weren't dead, what they must be going through on day 3, like horrific shit that if the family read, my God, that would crush me. You know what I mean? Thinking of my family in those circumstances. So I am absolutely no fan of the wealthy, but come on, these are human beings and they have families that love them.
I am not shocked at the behavior that I saw. You guys know I generally think people are full of shit and pieces of shit anyway. But there are more losers in the fucking world than there are winners. And the losers hate the winners. And right now, the losers have the bullhorn. That is what social media is about. So if there's an opportunity to poke at the winners, to poke at the people who are prettier, stronger, faster, anything that they were ridiculed for not being, they will take that shit and they will run with it. They will run with it.
But what I wanted to explore that before we move on, because we're at the second hour. I hear that a lot. Like David said, I'm no fan of the wealthy. Like, they did what they had to do to get wealthy. Why are you mad at that?
Well, wealth isn't my goal. And if that's someone's goal, more power to them. It's what they do with the wealth. And, it is the selfish political donors for power wealthy. It is even the people that just don't give to the poor. It is the people that complain about paying taxes, when they're making 7-8 digits. That's the stuff that makes me absolutely crazy in this country. We give them a fucking pass. And, just tooting my own horn, when I lived in Connecticut in a poor city, and Connecticut is either or, you're either hedge fund billionaire or food stamps. In the poor cities, if you own property, you pay 7 times the tax rate as someone with a mansion in Greenwich or Fairfield or something like that, percentage wise. It's that kind of shit that just makes me absolutely insane. Like, it's already tough for people who are working class or low income or anything like that. Why we got to make their ride so much harder when we could simply poke up the tax points on a couple of, not even a couple, like, we talk about the 1%. I talk about the 35%. Raise their fucking taxes. You know what? And give the people some relief.
Okay. So I feel like a lot of the issues that we have can be solved just like that. They just don't want to be.
This is the thing. I think that I have no issue with people that come from nothing and provide to society and become rich. I think we start to have a little bit less sensitivity towards the hedge fund children, the people who are inheriting wealth, starting at the finish line, and then making it harder for everybody else to get there, pulling up the ladder, not caring, not being empathetic. I think it comes along with being rich. It's just you have a lack of empathy because you don't understand. But I will say this, we are all human and we all do it, because at a different level, you'll have someone hiring an immigrant for $5 or going down to Honduras and saying, I can get a blowjob and my roommate up for $5, and they do it. So the exploitation is not just the rich; it's just
Yes.
humans exploit.
Yes. So
That's a good point.
that was really my point. It's like the self-righteousness. We've all fucked somebody to get somewhere. We all have more than someone else has. All of us, everybody. David, you're fucking gorgeous. Like you take pictures, like you could take pictures on a toilet and it's like, oh my God, it's so avant-garde.
I don't, by the way.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's like somebody may look at you, but them fucking models, them fucking he probably eats a leaf of fucking salad, fucking leaf of lettuce every fucking day, and I have to fucking work to lose this gut. So we all have Kit Kat.
Half gone.
We all have, you know what I mean, something. And it was disturbing, aside from what we feel about the rich and the haves and have-nots. In my opinion, it was just the lack of humanity. Where I was like, whoa, like we're really, whoa, something's really happening to society, and it's not paranoia. I'm like, something is like, it's shifting.
We've seen a lot of movies predicting this, though. There's been a lot of movies that have shown society coming to this point of apathy.
And David, I saw Idiocracy. I'm like, this is our world right now. Yeah. I did the homework. Did you
enjoy? Like, seriously, this is where we live now.
I said, this is America. All the stupid people are running everything. Yes. I was like, even the president, I was like, Trump.
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah. Where was he? Helton, like something Mountain Dew Camacho. His name had a brand in it. President.
Yeah. Such a good movie. But I will say this, just to be fair, we kind of saw this building when Kobe died with his daughter in the plane crash. This was going on, just not to this level. They were saying, I saw memes that said, this is the hottest Kobe's daughter will ever look, going down in the plane.
Ooh, wow.
I saw memes. Also, before that, and I really don't think, honestly, this is my conspiracy theorist brain, I don't think that those are regular people putting those memes and those things out.
No, you know, I've been told you that they're not. People don't understand how things go viral, and that's why I have an issue with viral stories, because none of them are organic. They don't come from us, right? They're all algorithm triggered. They're all propaganda of some sort, and then people run with it, because people have to understand how much money is spent on psychology, right? To get us, right? And they know that most people are dumb. Most people are dumb, and most people follow suit. So if they see everyone on top of something, they're going to be like, oh, I want to get on top of this too. And then there's even people like us who aren't like that, but we know in order to get we have to get on a wave, because if not, then all of our efforts that we're doing is not going to be seen.
Yes,
right?
and that's actually, Lily, that's actually what triggered my conversation with Haran, was that I saw a guy, really nice guy, Puerto Rican social media influencer, and he's always about Puerto Rico and hurricane relief and help the Puerto Ricans and help us build and blah, blah. And he was making jokes, right, about the Titanic. And I was like, I wonder how he would feel if someone was making fun of people drowning in Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. Like, I wonder, would he keep the same energy? No, he wouldn't. But it goes back to what you said, Lily. Even the nice people, I have to get on this wave. I have to be an asshole too. I have to be a dick too. And what is that doing to society as a whole? Before the Kobe Bryant jokes, Trayvon Martin's dead body on the grass was cut out, and people were putting his dead body, photoshopping his dead body on the grass in different things, coming out of the water like a dolphin, shooting out of a rocket. This is during the Trayvon Martin murder trial. Yeah, so it's just getting worse and worse and worse. No sympathy, no empathy. And again, remember, the world that we're participating in, we still live in. We still have relatives in, and we still have children in.
I'd say you're right. It's getting worse. But then I also remember, let's see if you can figure this out. At a hanging.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think they just didn't have cell phones back then. But, you know, I'm not going to disagree that we are more desensitized, and what used to be taboo, like, or shameful, We're talking about dead bodies and jokes about things. Nobody waits anymore. It's not like, okay, it's been 5 years, it's been a year, it's been 2 years. No, they're coming up because they want to
No,
get
they're
to it
on it.
first.
No,
They want to
they're
get
on
to it
it.
first and go
Mhm.
viral. So that
And now,
part
and
is
back
different.
then, it was a very there was a very racial component to it. There was only one race of people that were acting like a bunch of fucking savages and animals with the picture like, oh look, they're hanging, a Negro. Now it's everybody. Everybody is on it now. Everybody is desensitized. Everybody is cruel. Everybody is. I got to get that first joke out. It's pretty bad. Haran, you were saying?
I think that what's most shocking about social media is that I think we were talking about this, Jen. I think this is the first time in human history we're actually seeing human nature on full display for the world to see. We're seeing
Yep.
just how horrible we can actually be.
Yep.
Because there was a time where things were localized and you heard stories, or you might seen this shit in a Stephen King film. You know what I mean? But to see it happen all in real time in front of you, you're looking at it and you're facing it, and to tell yourself, when did it get like this? No, maybe it always was.
I think
Maybe it always was. You just didn't have a grand stage for it.
I feel like it's always been in us, and I feel like
Absolutely.
these devices and everything like that is just bringing it out. It's kind of like what Dave was saying about the billionaires or whatever. Like it's like a person with a lot of money who becomes like as they get rich and act like an asshole, and it's like, well, they didn't really change, they just really brought out what was already in them. So it has to be in you in order for you to display that behavior. Some people will never display certain behaviors. So I do feel like these things, and the fact that we're desensitized has definitely brought out the worst in humanity, but it was there.
I will also say this, and I have spoken about this. One thing that I see is that, you have these kids who are ready to do whatever and get clout and blah 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 so on. But if you notice, once they get the attention put on them, they really believe that they're serious artists. They really believe that they're serious journalists,
They do.
serious models, serious everything. So it begs the question where that the intention really comes from the fact that you really want to be talented. You really want to be these capable people. But the only way you think you can actually become those people or behave or act as if you are is if you act like a goddamn fool. Because that's the only thing that really
Okay,
happens.
and speaking about acting a fool, let's get into the topic. Dr. Umar says black men make excuses about leadership. So Dr. Umar is viral again. It's been a while since he's been viral. Aside from just people clowning him, I think him and Tariq Nasheed have become like, comedians at this point. They're like black culture, black activism comedians. It's like satire. Like, it's not real activism. It's kind of like satire, right? At this point, the two of them. Despite that, Dr. Umar is viral now because he went on a podcast with 3 other black men who were not ready for him. And he made a lot of good, interesting points, and people are chopping it up or whatever. So I just wanted to go over 2 things tonight that I thought was interesting. He said, black men make excuses about leadership. When he was on the podcast, he was explaining to the 3 gentlemen that, it is up to the black man to fix the black community. It's not up to white people. It's up to the black man. And one of them, quipped, no, how can we be leaders? The women ain't having that. Black women aren't allowing us to be leaders. They're not having that. That is what he said. I was a little taken aback by that statement, but even more so because he said it with conviction, like it was the truth and that was the law. Like, black women are not going to let black men be leaders in the community. He said, not going to let them be leaders in the community. Haran, what say you?
First of all, that really stood out with me. And it was just the bellowing and the aching of a coward.
Are you saying black men are cowards?
A vast majority of them are. I've said this before. Yes, vast
Okay, there
majority.
you go.
Because if one of him if he's thinks that way, I'm sure 2 million think the same. And overall, leadership is established, and your spot is basically maintained, and you take what needs to be taken in order to
Have
say
you ever
this
seen
is
a
my
leader ask?
you plant your flag. If you're sitting there
I
looking
know.
for someone to give you the leeway to plant your freaking flag,
Yeah.
like, come on now. What are you doing? You're not a leader. You can't even
Excuse
make the
me.
decision for leadership.
Can I lead?
Leaders
Excuse
take
me.
charge. Right.
Excuse me. You mind if I lead?
Exactly. Essentially, that's essentially what
Anyone?
it is. It's just like, look, man, give me the wheel. Give me
No,
It's
the
no
like
one
the
wheel.
wants to
lady from
speak.
Police Academy, the little short black cop. She's like, "Oh, excuse me, excuse me." You remember that scene? You know, like,
Yes.
Right.
Leadership looks like that mic getting snatched out of homegirl hand. That's what leadership
But
looks
you know what?
like.
You know what though? When he said it though, when he said it though, he said it with his. You can see the body language of him when he said it. He looked defeated even when he said it.
Oh, yeah,
He
for
did.
sure. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Defeated even when he
Do you
said
think?
it. So you
Well,
know what he's coming from.
let me ask this question. He said it from, in my opinion, he sounded like a subordinate. Like he sounded like he was afraid of Black women. Do you think that, devil's advocate, do you think that Black men have a fear, even a subconscious fear,
Yes.
of Black women due to their mothers being so stern and hard on them from when they're very little boys? So they're already used to, like, whatever a Black woman says, that's what the fuck it is. Do you think that's a factor?
Absolutely. And the men who don't understand how to tell their own mothers to sit down are
Yes.
usually the ones who behave like this gentleman. Look,
Yes.
Jen and I, we speak about my mom, and I
Mhm.
love my mom, but I told her I have no issue to tell when telling my mother, yeah, you need to fall back. This is my life. This is what I do. You know what I mean? Your job ended a good 2 decades ago. Thank you.
He said, thank you.
But this is not where you live. And I get it. You know what I mean? It's your mom. You know, you don't want to let her down, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But you see, you got to understand that thinking is very dangerous. We have to really worry about and pay attention to the subconscious mind. Because if you allow yourself, because the mother is the first female that you come in contact with. So if you constantly see yourself as a subordinate, constantly be like, okay, mama, you know what I mean? You're going to go out into the world. How are you going to go out into the world and take charge with any woman? You're going to go out into the world and think that, hey, I'm a subordinate here, so I must be a subordinate someplace else.
Mhm.
if I could throw something in, is that
Absolutely, George. 1 second. Henry Mars says Dr. Umar's big contributors are Black women. Why would politicians speak negatively about their donors?
Well, the same thing could be said about Kevin Samuels. His biggest fucking fans were, you know what I mean, Black men. So why would he speak negatively about them?
Oh no, you know when it comes to that, no, he cared about the Black community and Black love.
He didn't speak negatively about y'all. Oh no, he did, but he wasn't making any money. He switched
Right.
and started giving you what you wanted, which is basically Black women being berated, and deep down subconsciously, you wanted to have the balls to tell your mama to shut the fuck up at some point in time. But
So I'll say this. Let's explore this, and I'll give my 2 cents. Henry Mars says Dr. Umar's biggest contributors are Black women. Why would politicians speak negatively about their donors? I've never given him a fucking penny. He's not talking to me. I'm not a Black woman. And from the outside looking in, the reason why I have an opinion is because that's what I've observed as well. There's a large demographic of Black men who are man children, and they very much appear to be intimidated by Black women, and they very much refuse to lead and make every excuse in the book why they can't lead. Women are masculine. The white man's out here. Nobody give me a job. It's a constant. I literally call them the nagging wife of America. That is what they are. There's always an excuse, but a lot of demands. There's always a gripe. There's always a whining. They're literally the nagging wife of America. So if I say something about it, it's because the Latina can't talk on us. If Candace Owens says something about it, she's a coon. She can't talk on us. If a black man says it, he's a coon. So maybe now that Dr. Umar said it, I don't know. Maybe it'll hold some weight that he said it, because they shut the fuck up on that podcast.
Well, no, they're saying he's out of touch.
Every pushback that they tried to have from the talking about, black women are masculine, and they pick the wrong guys all the time. And Dr. Umar asked them a very straight question: why are there so many black men to pick from? Why are there so many Pookies and Ray Rays? And the guy quipped. He was like, "No, well, so I'm supposed to be responsible because she got pregnant and came in." He was like, "If there is no seed put in this woman, that's the end of the no." But she could decide to have an abortion. If there is no seed put into the woman to impregnate her, that's the end of the discussion, right? A woman can't force you to come in her and impregnate her. So it's funny how black men are constantly the victims, even if they're of their own dicks. They're even a victim of their dicks.
Yeah, because they'll have 3 babies in 1 year and then blame all 3
it's
mothers.
like so here's my question. What exactly, and let's be clear, this is for the sake of entertainment, because I thought that podcast was funny. I think it's funny when men sit around and talk about power that they don't have. When men sit around and threaten about power they'll never have. I just think it's funny. So I'm entertaining this. Okay. I really am. But I'm like Lily, you tired of seeing the outbursts? I'm tired of seeing the cap. Right. So, so Umar's sitting there telling these 3 black men what they got to do to fix the community. But I don't even think there's a black community. And I've heard a couple black people say that, and I agree with them 100%. There are 2 different demographics of black people. There are
Right.
2. There are 2. But you have the ones in the middle who keep insisting that you can combine those 2 and create a nation. You cannot. There are 2. There are the girls that are going to twerk in the restaurant and get thrown out and then try to boycott because you didn't let them twerk. And then there are going to be the girls that are sitting at the next table disgusted because they just wanted to get dressed and go out and have a good time with their girlfriends and have some wine and some dinner. Those 2 people will not mesh. Why people keep trying to mesh them, I do not know. So when Dr. Umar was saying, you guys got to go in the community and help these single mothers, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? This is like, what are you talking about? There's like the Universal Circus. What the fuck? What is this? Right. If a man got out the hood or out the ghetto, or if a man, black, white, or indifferent, if he did what he was supposed to do to make his life better, they're not going to go running back to the ghetto to help anybody. That's not what they do. They move away. They move away because they know those people will not change and they're happy living a certain way. So I don't get the let's fix the black community. There is none. There's this group and there's that group.
Yep.
And the line in the sand is drawn very widely.
They literally want 2 different things.
I will say this.
Good point.
As you know, Jen, I have no issue mentoring, young men, young black men who, would like to go in a particular direction in their lives. In terms of the hood and so on, I have no issue going back for them. Anybody 35 and over who has potential, you go work on that potential, homeboy. I hope it works out for you. I'm about the children, because if we look at it from a mathematical perspective, okay, if the obsession is the Pookies and the Ray Rays, first of all, if a goddamn, if a woman chooses a goddamn criminal and an unemployed criminal, a man with multiple, children over you, maybe that just says a lot about you than it says about, the choices that she has. But anyway, I will say this to say, if you concentrate on the stock, building better stock, by way of concentrating on building better men, by way of getting your hands on the children, you'll most likely have a generation of people who, to their argument, there are better options. There'll be more so better options. There'll be less Pookies and Ray Rays. But to do that takes foresight, leadership, courage, The ability to say, this is a problem that needs to be fixed, and we need to come together and fix it. You can't. Here's the thing.
But again, so let me challenge that though, Ron. Let me challenge that real quick.
Right.
I keep hearing this never ending. We need to come together and fix it. What I don't understand. What is
No,
it
people
like
such as myself. People such as myself.
Right, and that's what I'm right.
Right,
And
right.
that is what I'm saying. This dire need to. Where does that come from? Because I'm not familiar with it. I'm sure white people aren't familiar with it. Where does that come from? This like we have to come together and kumbaya the community and go back for these. Where does that come from?
I do want to see black men thrive, but there are too many broken black men at the moment.
Right.
So I have a chance with the children. I can fix the children. I can guide them. I can lead them. I'm not worried about these dudes out here like that. They're done.
So I'm gonna tell you how I look at it. I look at it like this. We see a lot of those teacher videos going around and the disruption and the fighting the teacher and all of that stuff. What a lot of people are missing in those videos is the same thing we're kind of seeing here, is that while the teacher has to deal with the person who wants to fight them for being on the phone, there's people not being educated. There's people who came there to be educated and who actually want that. The person who came there to be on their phone, they want to be on their phone. Having both sets of people in the same classroom is going to fuck up the people who actually want to learn. That is what's going on in the black community right now. That's why I am like Haran. I only deal with people who are showing that this is what they want. Right? Fuck you if that's not what you want. You have the right to not want that. Cool. Go over there. Don't disrupt us over here. And that's why the line needs to be drawn in the sand.
We need to step away from the convincing business and deal with people who actually do want to persevere and people who actually do want to learn and move forward, but they might not have the necessary resources. They might not have the push and the example. All the rest of these other motherfuckers, these defective motherfuckers, leave them to where they are. They should have been chucked over the goddamn cliff.
I'm still. Henry Mars says, Jen, it comes from the civil rights era when there was systemic racism, but many men haven't grown from that. I was just wondering, I was like genuinely curious, what is this pining and this need, this dire need to like, oh, let's just help the community and the youth and I was just wondering where that comes from. It's sort of like this, for lack of a better term, and maybe there's a real scientific term for it. It's almost like this Mother Teresa gene. This I don't get it. Instead of like, I don't know, I'm like, are you thinking generational wealth? You know what I mean? Improving your life for your family. I just don't see how you can really afford to spread yourself so thin with a demographic that obviously doesn't want better. We live in a country, love it or hate it, where there's so much fucking opportunity. I mean, there are 16-year-olds that are fucking millionaires because, they're crunching water bottles on YouTube, right? And that's an extreme, but it happens. So, he made a point. One of the guys on the podcast made a point where he was like, oh, but that you're educated and the systemic oppression, blah, blah. And, a lot of these black people aren't educated and blah. And I was like, in the year 2023, you think black people don't think that systemic oppression exists or that racism exists? What makes you think that? What makes you think that they don't know that and just want to twerk on a car anyway?
Right. That's what they want.
So I'll say something. There's a few things going on. So I heard him comparing like, well, certain groups come here and they do better. And I think one of the problems I see is like, for instance, I'm going to go off course a little bit, but they think white people are on some kind of code. I think white people just have the advantage of numbers. They have the advantage of numbers, and they have the wealth circulating. It's not like I go to I'm going to go to a white person for like they're cooking Creole food. Oh, I'm going to go to that white person over that black person. There is no code. It's just that we have the majority and we have more wealth in our community. But there's a lot of people that fall off. And we're not saying we got to come together and help these people out. It's kind of fend for yourself. So, but that's the disadvantage of being, 45 million people in this country, is that there's less room. There's less room for error. And this whole notion of, I just think it's impossible. I don't think you can come together and worry about everybody, right? I think that's impossible. And the different people that come from other countries that are able to succeed, that's because they had a culture already in place. They come here, they get into, they speak the same common language that is different from everybody else. And some of them do better, but there are a lot of those people that are poor too. I mean, there's a lot of broke Jewish people, believe it or not. There are. So, but I definitely think that it's this whole, because I've heard like Umar Johnson, other people say, oh, we need to come together, stay on code. That is going to hold a lot of people back, because you can't be worrying about, because you're acting like those people that are struggling have the same goals as you.
Yeah,
and
that's there you go, right? You have two disparate groups, groups that don't want to come together.
Right. They don't.
They don't want to come together.
They don't.
In either scenario, race agnostic and everything like that. It's kind of like haves and have nots, and they don't want to come together. And if maybe let's say you made it out of the hood, you don't want to go back. There was anyone remember not too long ago, it was literally right down the street from me, there was a rapper named Chinks Drugs.
Yep.
Gonna need more quinine. And he I forget, someone was commenting on his death, but that's what he did. He made it to a certain level. He got out of this area, but he came back to visit and got shot.
Yep. Same thing with the Lost Boys.
Right. So, don't come back. Like, import the 35-year-olds to where you are to say, hey, you can check out Bel Air or wherever the hell you live. You know what I mean? But I think that's the problem with coming together is that there's a line there that neither group really wants to cross.
But see, as Black people, we are guilted into being monoliths, right? If we're not raccoons, right? If we're on code. I feel the same way about the LGBT community. If I don't agree, then I am transphobic or self-hating or whatever. And it's the same thing. That. It's like, so with marginalized groups, you tend to be guilted and shamed into not coming together and being as one. It's like, don't you know we're under this? And I'm like, but we don't all want the same thing, and it's fucking-K. It is okay. Like, I'm not here to convince anyone to life the way I life, right? But there are people who are interested in what I'm interested in. Hey guys, let's do this thing. So it should be that simple, but it's just not.
I want to say really, hold on.
Can you put that comment?
Hold on. Thank you for the super chat, Don Levon. Catch the replay. Yes, gracias. What comment?
The Moxie, she put a comment at me.
All right, let me deal with this one really quickly.
Okay.
Henry Mars, I'm sorry, I got to agree with Henry Mars. He says many people have moved out of civil rights mindset, yet there is still some systemic racism, but society has evolved. Opportunity exists for everyone. Progress was made, but some stayed back. I do believe that. Because there's so many people that got left behind in that mindset of, oh, woe is us, look at us, we're Black in America. People like Tariq Nasheed's clown ass and Dr. Umar Johnson will always have an audience because, defeatism is a disease and it's widespread and it's incurable. So, a lot of Black people in this country, they're indoctrinated. It's almost like being oppressed is a fucking religion. They're very faithful to it.
Yes,
they will preach it. And they will make it the reason to why things happen and don't happen. That's just the way people use Christianity. It's above me. It's above me. It's racism and systemic oppression. It's above me. They're the reason why this happens or it doesn't happen. It's very much a part of who they are psychologically. It's embedded in their psyche. And if you try to take that from them, then you're a coon. You're a race traitor. You're not race loyal. It's no different than trying to take somebody's Jesus from them. And that's why I say it's a religion. They all speak the same language, right? Just like any other religion. It is a fucking religion, and it's never going to change. Some people will die with their religion, period. There's no conversions, nothing. So what makes all these, you know what I mean, astute, elite, millionaire, billionaire, black people think that they're going to go save the ratchets? They don't want to be saved. They don't want to be saved. Why don't people get that through their fucking head that they don't want to be saved?
They don't.
That's
Jim.
bizarre to me.
But they don't want to be saved due to the fact that losing is perceived as winning, because they do not have the tools nor the fortitude to actually put the work in. So in many ways, things such as martyrdom, things such as victimhood and so on and so forth, as I said before, these people see that as some sort of empowerment. And this is one of the reasons why if you try to take that away from them and tell them to actually leave that alone and empower themselves, they just can't wrap their heads around it. And this is one of the main reasons why I just don't do the on code thing. And my main goal and plan is to ensure that people and black men such as myself don't die out or die off. That's why, like I said, I concentrate on the children or people who want to be helped. Those other people over on the corner, I got nothing to do with that. I got nothing.
Throw it in the super chat on my Vegatron.
Because you got young people out here who want something, and they might not even have the support from their families. They probably have a crack mama and absentee father, and estranged family, but they actually want. And I've seen those people rise out of the ashes, and I'm like, whoa, you. I know a couple personally. Like, it's like, how the hell? But because they wanted it. They wanted it. They had every list of excuse not to succeed, but now they got their masters, they're married and living their best life, and came from all these horrible backgrounds.
Really quickly, George, before we go to you, No Saint wanted me to address this. What's that? There's like bells.
There's
like bells in the background.
I think that's AC here making some squeaky noise.
All right, so just mute your mic until you speak, because it's fucking getting on my fucking nerves. We're coming up at
go
the
ahead
2
and
hours.
address that.
I know numbers. I don't know what that means. I know numbers, but she says I know numbers, and I'm Dominican American from NTC. Shut up.
New York City.
Oh, New York City. Shut up, No Saint. The reparations are coming out of your pocket.
So this is what I don't understand. I don't understand. I need clarification or comment.
You owe me money, No Saint.
Yeah, she acts like I'm against. First of all, she acts like I'm against reparations, which I'm not. We pay the Japanese for having them in internment camps. I think that reparations are due. So yeah, they can take it out. Listen, they can cut the defense budget by 2% and probably have a lot of money left over for reparations. So. But I'm not exactly sure where you were coming from. That comment wasn't exactly clear.
Why do people want reparations? What's the reason?
So speaking of reparations, he did speak on reparations. He says, why are black people asking for reparations? And a lot of them are. He said, why are black people in this country asking for reparations when they've made Koreans a $1 trillion nation? The numbers he gave, he said that black people spend $30 billion a year on Korean companies. So his take is black people are very comfortable in oppression. He said black people are very good in making the Asians wealthy. They're spending a lot of money. And then he went into other numbers, like how many billions is spent on Jordans per year and designer clothes and what have you. So when you hear, wigs. So when you hear these numbers, again, that's why I say I want reparations to happen. So these people just give it back to the Koreans and the French and Italian labels, and everybody can go on about their fucking business. But because they're the nagging wife of America, it'll be something else after the reparations. Yeah. It'll be something else. And I just want the reparations to happen to prove once again that you are the problem you're speaking about.
This reminds me, I got to buy some tickets for Vegas.
Yeah, but let George speak because I interrupted him for no saint.
Yeah, and so what I was going to say, Jen, is that I was listening to part of his. I got through the first part of the interview, and there were some things he was saying. I was kind of like, okay. And then when he started the dialogue about, well, white America has set up these black billionaires and millionaires because they want, that's a ploy to keep, for you to say, well, you couldn't get there because your credit wasn't good and you didn't, and this and that. And I was like, wait a minute, this is a dude that's got a PhD in psychology. He says he's a clinical psychologist.
He does say that.
So I guess the whiteys basically set him up. But yet he's sitting there talking about, he's preaching a doctrine that is like, all I see it is like, if you listen to that aspect of what he's talking about, you're going to be right where you are and you will stay there. And people like him will make millions off of you. He will make millions off of you.
Well,
because I'm sure when he goes
like you mean
engagements,
he monetizes off of their black trauma, black pain, and all of that. Yeah, him and
while pretending to be their friend. While I'm, follow me. Follow what I'm saying. You need me. He even said, you need me here to tell you this.
Well, I feel like both sides is doing it. The reparations side is doing it because they dangle the reparations carrot right before an election every time. It's like, ooh, Colts, no, not this time. Oh, we about to sign on paper. Oh no, the dog ate my homework. All right, and then you got Tariq Nasheed and him on the opposite side, also monetizing off of the black pain and trauma. So it's just they're getting pushed back and forth. Yeah.
Because I was like going to ask Karan, Jen, and you, Lily. Well, y'all are relatively successful in this oppressive environment that we're living in. Have you made a deal with Whitey? Have y'all gotten with the
absolutely
somewhere?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, I have my Illuminati meeting right after this, so it's just I do what I got to do. Yeah.
The ghost of Ulysses S. Grant stops by quite often. We have a number of discussions.
Yeah.
What's funny on my end is that when I was pushing to go into tech, a number of black people asked me, why am I doing that? That's a white person's job. That's for white folks. Why don't you take the cop test?
Oh, you too? Why is it that all of us? Why is it? Listen, I've heard
cop test, right?
It's always the fucking cop test all the fucking time. I'm like, I don't want to be a fucking cop.
Okay,
it's either that or transit.
I did take the court officer's exam though.
Well, I mean that's different.
And in DC, it's get you a good government job. That's in DC. Everybody, like literally, get you a good government job. Like literally, that's what you have to look forward to. You're going to spend your whole life growing up for that good government job.
And here's the problem:
get those benefits
that I have, and I was speaking about this to a number of brothers. See, the problem is that when you actually go out there and you get these jobs that maybe not even pay that much or whatever, and you go and be proud that you're a fucking bus driver, you put yourself at a huge financial disadvantage in life. And pretty much anything that happens to you, you can't really fight back. You guys, a lot of these guys are belly aching every fucking 5 minutes talking about, she's taking me to town, I ain't got no money. Yeah, because you're a bus driver and you got 4 fucking kids. So it's either one of the two things. Either you're not going to be a bus driver or not have a bunch of fucking kids. But obviously, you don't know how to put your dick in your pants. So why aren't you going out there and getting more money? And at the end of the day, we live in a capitalist society. If you continue to sit, if the poor are just food, okay? The poor have to just take whatever the fuck happens. They have no power. And black men can continuously put themselves in a space where they're vulnerable and to the whims of damn near anyone.
So something. Go ahead, No Saint. Go ahead. That noise, No Saint.
Well, that's when I turn my mic on because you told me to turn it off.
I know, but no, I'm saying even when you turn it on, it just sounds like hell. Like you got to fix that next time.
No Saint. You know what it all sounds like?
It's like a wind tunnel. It's a wind tunnel.
Like right now, it sounds like a wind tunnel.
Now it's dead. Now it's dead. Now it's good.
It's
Okay,
whenever
that's what
you
I'm saying.
first. No, it's whenever you
Yes.
first turn it back on. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jen is doing the old okey doke. What women do, they say, "I don't like this, do this," and when I do that and turn it back, I don't like that either.
No, I don't like the noise whether you're on or off. None of us do. If you have headphones on, it sounds fucked up.
Yeah, it's loud.
If I didn't have headphones on, it wouldn't matter. But you have
I got you. I got you. Unfortunately, yeah. Okay. So anyway, I was looking at another one of Moxie's comments I want to bring up. But listen, reparations, people always think reparations has to mean somebody's check. Like you're getting it could be like universities, and that's probably why Umar doesn't want that, because it would cut into his scam of a school that he's trying to do. But yeah, it doesn't have to come in form of a check. It'd be like free it.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Free. That wasn't me.
That was Queens. Queen speaking up. Hey, I'm here.
Free education. It could be in forms of other things. And then she said, I want it coming out of people's pockets who benefited. So you'd have to trace back, because yes, there are corporations still there today that have benefited from it. But if you're talking about every single individual, I can't tell you. Sure, I benefited from a lot of stuff, just from being born in this country. But again, I pay taxes, and it could come out of my tax money. And maybe as part of reparations, you don't pay taxes. It could be done different ways. So I don't have a problem. But I think we can all agree that if the Japanese got reparations, the Jewish people got reparations from the Germans, the Native Americans or the indigenous people up in Alaska get money for living up there. I mean, I don't see why it's a problem that, corporations that have made billions off of the backs of Black people that were slaves in this country, that's kind of owed. And so I don't,
But I'm gonna answer your question how I look at it, right? So I have this thing when it comes to money I didn't work for or earn. It's kind of like when it's money I worked for and earned, I want my shit and I want it on time, right? But then there's money that is promised to me. I may or may not get it. Now, if I get it, I'm taking it. But if I don't, I'm not sitting around like, okay, I'm not going to do anything until they promised me they're going to give me this money. I'm just going to sit here because it's a lot of money. It's coming. They're talking about reparations again, honey. Yeah, like that's what I'm seeing going on. It's like they're waiting for this, and I always make this joke, but I say it half-hearted, like half jokingly. The PPP scam showed us what's going to happen. Right? Motherfuckers was living in the projects and getting $100,000. I'm talking a lot of people. They're all broke today. Right? But Louis, Gucci, Prada went up in sales those 2 years, the new cars and the Koreans was doing really well, so we already seen it. So like Jen said, just go ahead and give them
that's
out,
not my business.
give them out.
That's not my business what they spend the money on.
Just give it out and let everybody spend it.
We're not saying it is. No, I'm just saying I want them to do it. Welcome, James Oko. Just warning, we're talking about Black people tonight. So I don't know if you can handle that. If you can handle that, you can come back up. But that's what we're talking about tonight before you come up to ask us why we're talking about what we're talking about. Go ahead, Haran.
I had made a suggestion years ago, since so many Black people are complaining about their credit. Why don't you just increase the credit score so they can be eligible for a number of things? They can be eligible for housing. They can be eligible for a lot of things that they claim they're not eligible for because they have poor credit ratings. Mm-hmm. So, increase their credit scores maybe by 100, maybe even 200. I don't know. But basically help them put them in a situation where they're not barred from obtaining a home, maybe obtaining some sort of property, obtaining something that they can create wealth from or hand down to their children. It doesn't have to be a friggin' check.
I actually like that idea. He also said, first of all, how do we feel about reparations, George?
In principle, I support it, but like I've said here before, what are you going to do? It's kind of like, I thought about this. It's kind of like we're talking about people who were enslaved 150 years ago. Mm-hmm. They're all obviously long dead. The people who actually went through that system, right? And then what about the people? It's like, and who's Black, right? or where are they going to define? Where are they going to draw the line? And then, and another thing, Jen and Haran, you guys are going to be out of luck in the United States, because, and Moxie too, because your ancestors came, Haran, they came from yours. You need to go to the UK and ask them for reparations. Jen, you need to go to Spain, and Moxie needs to go to Spain too. See, so it gets into all that shit. So what No Saint was saying, and what Haran was saying, to me, is it really a full measure? No. And I'm going to tell you this. Now, they're going to set the game up that where it's the least, the people, it's the fewest amount of people are going to qualify. Okay, so don't think it's going to be like all the black people are going to get it. They're going to set it up to where they're going to put all these rules in, and you're going to have to get DNA tests, and you're going to have to prove this, and you're going to say, well, but I look, and they're going to say, well, there's mixed race people, and people who, Jen over here, she's Afro Latina, and on and on.
Oh no! All them people that said I'm black, I'm taking that right to the front of the line. They said I'm black, so I want my fucking money, right? I'm black too, right?
Right.
They said I'm black. I want my fucking money.
You're not gonna be black that week. You ain't gonna be black that week, Jen.
I know, Lil. Oh, I'm gonna be Caucasian. They're gonna make me all the way white.
Yeah,
they're gonna make me all the way white.
They're gonna send you back to Spain for real.
Blue white.
But you're gonna bypass Puerto Rico and everything. They're gonna send you right on the
way
Spain because that's U.S. territory. Nope, Spain.
Yeah, and I told there's the ridiculous cases like me where I'm 0.8% African. My DNA. Like I was making that joke one time. It'll be me and the Pookie, and I'll be right down there with Pookie and Ray Ray. Want to get my 0.8%. You'll have a joke like that. Of course, it's like if there was a way they could really do it equitably and give it to the people who really deserve it, then like No Saint said, he's absolutely right. If they cut the defense budget by 2%, there would be more than enough money to give if they were going to just hand out a check.
But they were talking about reparations for Puerto Rico as well, actually Puerto Rico. So I thought that was interesting. I haven't.
If it's coming from the government, though, it's everyone's money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
How do you feel about reparations, David?
I'm a big fan. I'll collect my 20%. Thank you.
You don't get your 20%.
Everybody black.
Oh, wait a minute. She wasn't from. She wasn't from the United States, my grandmother. So,
okay.
But
so you're not gonna get you a weed.
Darn.
I think it's due. I think it's important. I just logistically can't wrap my head around how the government would accomplish it. I know they did it for other groups and everything like that. But this seems like a much more, like the Japanese internment camps. The Japanese that was a relatively small number of people, and they weren't just Japanese, But I think that logistically,
the natives too, yeah. It's gonna be hell.
Because it's a can of worms. You start opening that can of worms. It's not gonna happen.
Yep. Interesting about the whole who's black, who isn't, because he also spoke about how other people outside of the race of black look at black people, right? And it was so interesting because we've had those conversations before, but people have come up here and told us not to talk about these things. So again, I'm glad that it was a big old black man in that chair saying everything that we've been saying, right? But we've said everything Umar said, we've dissected, filleted. We've said everything, okay,
and he's
verbatim.
Mr. Pro-Black. And he's Mr. Pro-Black.
Correct.
Okay.
That's why I think he stole a couple of fucking talking points over there.
Right. Because it was
a lot of things sounded real familiar. Like
I was like, we said that shit too. So one of the things that we said that I heard him say, he was talking about who's black, who isn't, and why are people, something we dissected here, that we filleted that shit. Why are black people so fucked, hell-bent on who's claiming black and who isn't? Because one of the guys on the couch said, well, people are conveniently black. There's this thing where the certain demographic of black people swear everybody wants to be black. right? So they want our rhythm and our blues. And I made a joke on Facebook. I was like, now I know how Black people feel about Afro Latinos, because they want our Afro Latino, but they don't want our reggaeton, right? It's because it's like, he was saying, why are you worried about people in the Caribbean and other people who not claiming? Same thing we said here. It's crazy. Claiming, not wanting to claim Blackness when there are Black people right here that are Black American and are not claiming Blackness, right? And I would think, if you're so concerned because you feel like you hold the patent to Blackness, you would start right here. I could send you to Little Kim's house. That bitch is yellow now. Okay, right? So it's like, we can start right here. If you're hell-bent on who's claiming Black, who's well, there are Black people here that don't want to be Black, but yet y'all have the biggest hard-on for Jamaican people, African people, Latin people who say, I am not Black. So that's weird to me. And I guess Umar felt it was weird to him too. What do you
One
think
of the
about
things
that?
that he did say, that we do say here, is
Mhm.
he was discussing the Asian bill, the bill that was passed very swiftly to protect Asians during COVID.
Yes.
And he was explaining this to them, and those young brothers couldn't wrap it around their head. Be like, "Yo, well, why didn't?" He was basically saying to them that the reason why that bill was put in place immediately is because there's a vested interest to ensure that Asians are kept safe in America, because they do business with Japan, they do business with other Asians in the world. Their money is attached to Asians, so there's a consequence if their people are not kept safe. Again, we often say there's no consequence to, mishandling Black people. There's no consequence attached to this, and that's why these things happen to us, particularly Black men.
Well, not only is there no consequence, the degeneracy is applauded and defended. It is
Defended like
applauded
to the
and
death.
defended. Okay. So
Whew.
you cannot, I know there's a certain demographic that feels like I could be both. I could be the most ratchet bitch on the planet and you better respect everything I did. No, you cannot be both. But for some reason here in this country, people think that they can be the most vulgar, the most degenerate, and you have to respect me no matter what because I'm Black. That's not how it works in the real world. And I always bring up this guy because I'm a huge fan of him. Attorney Kevin Kelly. He has the Kitchen and Cocktails restaurants. He has fucking nightclubs. He's opening up all over the United States in the major cities. Amazing human being, amazing father. His kids are already in business. These guys just graduated high school. Amazing family dynamic entirely. He's a Black man. And I always take it back to his restaurant. And I'm gonna tell you what I did because I'm a G. I take it back to his restaurant where women were twerking at the restaurant on the tables, in the seats, and he threw them out. And he came out and had an outburst. And he was like, I'm trying to do something for us, a nice place for us to go and have dinner. If you can't handle that, because that's how we do business here, get the fuck out and don't come back. Like he was done. He was done. They literally started a petition to shut this man down. And who did it?
Yep.
Not white people.
Yep.
Not whitey. Black people were insisting that he had the fucking nerve to tell them that they couldn't twerk in his restaurant.
And the word anti-Black was thrown around like a motherfucker. Like I'd never heard the word anti-Black. And I'm like, why is twerking synonymous with Black? Why is everything negative synonymous with Black? Like why is degeneracy synonymous with Black? That is why the line has to be drawn in the sand. He was drawing the line in the sand. He's like, this is not the establishment.
And to show my support, because I didn't live there. Was it Texas, Lily, or Atlanta?
It was
Texas. Right. Now he's all over the place. Oh my God. And I was talking to him on the DMs. I was like, when are you coming to Vegas? He was like, oh, we coming to Vegas. Like this dude is throwing up restaurants like hotcakes.
Awesome.
Yeah, amazing. So since I couldn't be there, I called them up and I asked them for a gift card and they give you like the serial number. And I did a contest on my Instagram because I don't live in Texas, and I did a Valentine's Day contest for a couple, like any couple that would answer a question. And I paid for someone to have dinner at his restaurant, and that's how I supported, because I didn't live out in Texas, so I couldn't go eat there. If I lived in Texas, I would just pull up to the restaurant, and give that man my money and have dinner there. So there are ways that you could support, right? I couldn't be there, but I was like, go eat over there on my dime. But Black people tried to boycott his restaurant. They wanted that man's head because he didn't want women twerking in his restaurant.
Now, would they have gone to like a upstanding, upscale restaurant that wasn't a Black restaurant and even thought about doing that?
Good question.
They wouldn't have. We only do that to each other.
I hear it agitates the lobsters in the tank.
It does.
Very tough lobster tails.
Yeah.
With the twerking.
I'm sorry, but every time that bell rings, I just hear in my head, Cecil, we just gonna have ourselves a hanging tonight. It sounds like some shit, like a motherfucker rings when they're about to hang some niggas. I swear.
So again, it begs the question: is there really a Black community? And here's the thing: going into all races and ethnicity, and I said this here before as well. Every race and ethnicity has an underbelly. White people, your fucking meth trailer parks are fucking repulsive. Okay, they are fucking repulsive. All right. I don't know how these people are walking around. It's like The Walking Dead, right? Latins, same shit. Black people, same shit. Asians, same shit. If you've been to Chinatown in New York and it's too hot, it stinks of fucking hell. And everybody's selling a fucking fake Gucci bag, okay? Mm-hmm. Every race and ethnicity has its underbelly. Every single one, okay? No one is exempt. However, I've said this before, Black people are the only ones. James, hold on to your seat because we're talking about Black people today. So if you can't handle it, I suggest you exit. You good? Okay. So, every race and ethnicity has an underbelly, but unfortunately, we're the Black community, and I'm using air quotes because I don't think there is one. Okay, I think back in the civil rights era, like Henry Mars said, there was this thing going on where we were all fighting for the same thing, right? And it's like we all needed to come together. It's a different time now in 2023.
Yes.
But I feel like there's a certain demographic of Black people that champions their degeneracy, and that's what's holding them back. They think it's like, fuck that, you got to accept any type of Black, the good Black, the bad Black, the degenerate Black, the big Black, the little Black, the unemployed Black, the criminal Black. We even see them defend their criminals because slavery existed and oppression existed. R. Kelly, he was molesting little Black girls. It didn't matter. Slavery happened and racism exists. So even their criminals are championed. The underbelly is championed. No other race or ethnicity does that. And I think that's what holds the quote unquote Black community back. Where if someone on the outside looking in, and I'm so glad Dr. Umar said, Koreans are looking at you, wondering what the fuck is wrong with y'all. I'm glad he didn't say any other race. Okay. He said, Koreans are looking at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And they just stood there quiet. Like, yeah, because who can answer? What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's true.
I just don't get it. I just don't fucking get it. And it's like, again, you can't just be the nagging wife of America and keep making excuses for why your men can't lead your fucking community you talk about so much. If there's a community, there's leadership. And if your leadership is women, I pass the mic. Hi, James.
Hey, what's up on the block, fam? How's it going?
What's going
good.
on, James?
How we doing?
Good to see you.
Right.
Yeah, good to see y'all too. Yeah, that Dr. Umar interview was very captivating. He's a powerful brother. He has a powerful voice, and we might not like everything that he says, but I don't think it can be denied, like, his influence, and that he says a lot of
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Can you
Nope.
hear me? You guys can
Uh-uh.
hear me, right? I'm sorry.
Now we can.
Now you can. Okay, yeah. What was the last thing you heard? But yeah, I was saying that interview was a powerful interview, and it's a lot of things he said. It's a lot of good things he said in the interview, and you know, we kind of probably pick and choose what we talk good. I mean, wouldn't you guys agree?
I don't know what I'm agreeing to because your phone keeps going in and out.
What
Okay.
are you asking us?
Oh wait, you know what? I'm having. Just give me a second. Go ahead and go on to the next person because my internet is kind of iffy right now. I've been having technical problems lately.
Okay. Somebody said
Like my
somebody said
internet.
okay. This is
Yeah, just go on to the next person.
okay.
I'll hop back in.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Wow, Mr. Justin. Wow. A light bulb just went on over my head.
I've seen someone else say this. I
This,
don't know who I've
Said that
seen say
already.
this.
wait a
What
minute.
did you?
Patriarchy.
Wait
What
a
D
minute.
was
There's
saying
a
it, right?
fucking epiphany.
Yeah, I think D
Wait
said it,
a
didn't he?
minute.
Yeah, I
Is
said
that
it.
what the issue is? That black men are having a difficult time accepting that black American structure is a matriarchy. Because listen, the man in that podcast said, and he's an adult black male, and he said, we can't be leaders in our community. The women will not allow it.
And that is why I said you got to get away from the concept of your mother so you can be a man, so you can turn it into a patriarchal community. I've said that it's a matriarchal community. It is. And they don't want to be.
So that's what it is. Then that's what it is. That's why, like, duh, like we've been constantly asking black men, why can't they lead? Why don't you lead? Untuck your nuts, do this, raise your children, go back to the home, stop leaving pregnant women, stop spreading your seed. But if it's a matriarchy, then black men are acting accordingly. Yes? No?
Yes, they're not taking control of the situation. It's a matriarchy now. It can change if they grabbed their fucking nuts and did what the fuck they needed to do. But they're not. And that's why they're scared. Because it's a matriarchy, because the mother, because they're used to being in a home where the mother makes all of the decisions because the father is not there.
Mm-hmm.
So the community is going to be matriarchal because, well, on a microcosmic level, the homes were matriarchal.
I got something for you. How many times when we see kids acting up or whatever, what is it that a lot of people from our community say instantly without thinking? Where's his mama? Where their mama at?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I've even caught myself. I've stopped doing it recently because I've caught myself, and I said, "Damn, that just comes out like that." And I'm like, where's that coming from? Because why am I not? Why is it not like muscle memory for me to say where's their parents or where's their dad?
Mm-hmm.
You rarely hear that. You rarely ever, unless the boy's carrying a purse, then that's when they're going to ask where the dad is at. But otherwise, if the boy's not carrying a purse, it's always where did mama at? It's just a matriarchy.
Again, it starts at home, and if your mother is making all the goddamn decisions in your home, even when you're grown, and when you go out and leave the home, finally, you're going to look for a woman to make all the goddamn decisions for you, and trained to have a woman lead. So it's a matriarchy.
That's a show.
Yeah,
that is a show.
That is. Let's write it down.
I'd love for you to write it down.
Yeah.
No, that's a good show. Aquarius is asking, what are Latinas doing for society compared to black women for society?
I have no clue.
You got to clear that up. But if you want to know like how quickly Latina women are growing as far as entrepreneurs and business owners, you could Google that, babe. Like a lot of y'all ask me shit that y'all can Google. Thank you for the super chat. Necessary Evil. Hi, Mama. Haven't seen you in a minute. She says, be with a man who doesn't find your completeness a threat to his manhood.
Here's the problem too. Here's the big, glaring, obvious problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to ask for submission, then you're not someone worth submitting to.
Period. I've never seen a leader ask for permission. That is so
Yeah, that
oxymoron.
was when he said that. I'm not gonna lie, I was taken aback because I was just staring at. I was watching the podcast like this.
Yeah, me too.
Because he said that he was like the black women ain't having that. We can't lead. And
So Jen, here we go. So when I tell you this, I believe I told you that a lot of black men are scared of white men, and they're scared of black women.
Oh Lord!
So in what world do you find your fucking nuts to actually get up and take control of your life and your community? But again, I'm seen as the tyrant. I'm seen as the bad guy. I'm seen like, oh, you need to show him grace, and like, these guys are weak.
Yeah, I can't take it.
Ladies, no disrespect, but a woman's not leading me. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? A woman's not leading me.
So we can close on, I guess. Then how do we explain all the black men, unless we explain it the way I said it's just two different species of black people? Because I was about to say, how do we explain all the black men that are fucking amazing?
Right. It's just two different species.
Right. If it's a matriarchy, is it just like a sub-black culture where there's the matriarchy, and then it's like different tribes? It's like different tribes.
Black American culture is a matriarch. We didn't come from a matriarch. We came from a patriarchy. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We came from a
point. Wow.
Culture.
Yeah.
But there are black American, like the guy just talked about, attorney Kevin Kelly. I know black men who aren't Caribbean.
Well, there's also tall Asians. There's they're outliers, man.
Right.
Like, come on.
Oh my
Jen,
God.
You know, Haran has a point, because I've heard you talk very much about your father and the influence he's had on you. I mean, heavy. Yeah.
And
relative to your mother, you don't really say that much about your mother. You know, not that I'm knocking that, but your dad is like front and center in your life.
Yeah, like my mom was very, you know what? Because you're right, he was the more dominant one in our home, and I looked to him for everything, for like how life worked. What my mom was the quintessential homemaker. She never worked. She was raising babies. She was a homemaker. So it's like, I love my mama, very nurturing, very caring, but she was literally one note. And my dad, honestly, was just more interesting.
and I'm about to say, till this day, I still call my dad first for everything. Like, still to this day.
And this is why Caribbean children are at a disconnect with what's going on, because again, many of them, we come from a patriarchal system. Known that the man is the head of the household. In Black American culture, the woman is, the matriarch is. So of course they're scared shitless to ask for the opportunity to grab the wheel.
Because when have you ever heard a black person say the patriarchy of our family?
Never.
You always hear the matriarch. Oh, this is the matriarch. Oh, I'm the matriarch. But you never hear, I'm the patriarch. Oh, here's the patriarch. You never ever hear that.
And it's always Big Mama.
Big Mama.
Big Mama's house is what Big Mama say, and everybody crowds around her like the queen. You know what I mean? It's like Big Mama, and that's true. Even movies.
Yeah.
Music.
Right.
Songs.
So that's a topic. We gotta definitely dissect that one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Patriarchal household. This is a patriarchal society. The concept of the children are in the house, the mother is in the house, everybody's even talking, everybody's cool, everybody's they're laughing and joking. Then the door opens at a particular fucking time, and they know who it is. Wow, that was pretty cool. But anyway, the door opens.
That was awesome timing.
The man walks in. and the temperature in the room changes because the man is home. The food is there. The food is prepared. Everything that needs to be prepared for is ready for him right there. He doesn't have to ask for a goddamn thing.
Haran, did your dad have his own chair that he sat in and nobody sat in that chair?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, all of that. Yeah. Shit,
No,
my
Dad-
had a whole floor. He had a whole floor. The basement
No,
was
my
his
dad,
lair.
my dad had that big old jug, and when he came through the door, I had to fill it up with water twice. Okay, he needed 2 large jugs of water. You know what I mean? He got served first. That's how it was. Like it was very much patriarchy. We just knew, and it was like, this is life. This is how it is. You know, but I think honestly, I think we're getting somewhere because there are 2 very much separate demographics. I know Mr. Justin said that guy isn't the guy I spoke about that's successful or whatever he said is not the majority. No, it's not the majority. The majority is the riffraff for sure. The majority is the riffraff. Like when you're watching, you're on YouTube or you're watching the news and like 500 kids are fucking running and tearing the town up and they're all black. That's a different culture than attorney Kevin Kelly and his children, right? It's a separate culture entirely. And again, I think a big mistake is trying to marry the 2 incessantly, just forcing the fucking square in the hole. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. James Oko, thank you for the super chat. James asked, Haran, did you and your mom live with your dad? And let me get to the other super chat really quickly because we're closing. Fahim Jackson, thank you for the super chat. Fahim says, I get Haran wants to help the youth, but we don't need surrogates. We need men and women raising their own offspring. I'm tired of seeing Haran's being cleanup guys to adults mismanaging their lives. I'm with you, Fahim. I'd rather Haran give all his attention to his child than us. We need him 100%. Let everybody else raise their own damn kids, and if they can't, oh well, that's life.
Way to answer James's question. Did you and your mom live with your dad? Yes, briefly, James, but he had to go for reasons that dealt with the law. Can't do certain things to certain people and expect to get away with it. So he had to go. And I know where you're going with it. James, my mom is one of the most, I came from essentially two assertive people. One was just, I'll just say it. One was just a complete psychopath. And I'm not joking. But anyway, I came from 2 very assertive people. So maybe this is why I have the energy that I have, because one of the things that my mother told me and instilled in me is that the worst defeat is self-defeat. You can lose, against 100 people. But if you defeat yourself, then what do you have? You have the situation that a number of your brothers are going through, James.
When there are no enemies within, no enemy outside can hurt you.
There you go. There you go.
All right, guys. So, and yeah, Fahim Jackson, do you want to address that before we go?
Yeah.
He said, don't save them hoes. They don't want to be saved, is what he said.
I'm not saving them hoes. If their kid has potential, I'll help Shorty out. Why not?
Oh. Okay.
I love the kids, man. Come on, man.
All right, but that kind of sounds like Ish. Save the people, save your fellow man.
Ish talks about saving people his age. We're not the same.
Right.
Wait, that's a good point. That's a good point. Ooh, that's a good point.
Big
all right.
difference.
Yeah, big difference for sure. And I'm about, you guys already know, I come into some money. When I do, I'm going to go hug sad monkeys, and I'm going to help children who have to walk miles to water, build wells. Fuck these people here. Okay.
That's wonderful.
Period.
I won't even be living here. Bye.
That's all of us.
I'm
reporting from other shores, Mr.
Right.
David Hand. Good night.
Hey, look,
Good
I told the girls, I told the girls I'm gonna grow a long ass fucking beard, get some big ass fucking bifocals, and go play the blues in a fucking.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, on your Andre 3000.
Down in
On your
No Saints
on your-
neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play some
Any
blues in the bar.
any parting words from our Caucasian friends? Y'all were quiet as hell. Y'all were like, I ain't getting it. Fuck them reparations. It ain't coming out of my check.
Should have never freed you.
If it was at Georgia's, like if it was up to me, you'd be in chains, you bitch.
So this is what my dad was talking about.
And that light one there, she'd be a house nigger. I like that one.
She's a pretty one. She's a pretty one. That's a pretty one.
That's a pretty one. That one. I bring that one to the house. All right, guys.
The discussion. It was really good.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and thank you for participating. I love that you guys say it with your chest. You know, I told you that before. This is the block and we have real fucking talk here, whether people get offended or not. That's life. This panel is real life. There's internet life and then real life. And we're real life. This is it, guys. This is it. All right, guys. With that said, join us mañana. Good night. Thank you so much, chat, for holding me down. Thank you for the super chats. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door. Good night. Love you all. Panel, hang back.
You want me to hang back too, or?
No, you're good, George.
Okay.
You're good. Thank you. Bye, guys. Good night. All right. Don't nobody talk about our orgy. We're still live.
Oh, damn it.
Hide the